Right then, assalamu alaikum and good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're listening in from. Change of Pace live for another Pakistan Super League match, Season 8 upon us. And we are in for a clash that, two teams that could not be more different. The Lahore Qalandars, dominant, formidable, settled, a unit to consider. And then you've got the Quetta Gladiators, weak, confused, looking for some hope. And in that pursuit, they've drafted in Umaid Asif, the Iron Man of the Pakistan Super League, finally making a comeback. Lahore did win the toss. QG won the toss and elected to bowl first. Lahore batting first with Fakhr Zaman, Tahir Beg, Sam Billings, Abdullah Shafiq, Hussain Talat, Sikandar Raza, David Wisa, Rashid Khan, Shaheen Afridi, Haris Rauf, and Zaman Khan. And Quetta will open with Martin Guptill and Yasir Khan, Will Smeed at number 3, Sarfraz at 4, Iftikhar at 5, Hafiz, Nawaz, Naseem Shah, Odin Smith, Naveen Ul-Haq, and then Umaid Asif. The first ball will be from Naseem Shah as it's cut away down to third man for a single. And I am in commentary royalty company today with AZ Khwaja and, of course, Atif Nawaz from the BBC. How are you, gents?
Very well, very, very well. How are you, AZ?
I'm very good, Atif bhai. Thank you so much for joining us once more. And Musad, इतनी buttering अच्छी नहीं होती है. आप वैसे भी हम फेंटा लगाने वाले हैं. Yeah. We're gonna smash your boys, inshallah.
Yeah, people that listen to Change of Pace know that I have a soft spot for the Qalandars. I think that spot's trying to it's growing.
ये तुम सिर्फ diplomacy दिखा रहे हो क्योंकि तुम्हें पता है हम back to back जाने वाले हैं.
I think they could be the first team that do that, actually. Zaman now on strike. Atif, do you agree? Do you think they look good enough to go all the way?
Absolutely. I mean, it's T20 cricket, right? So it's very variable. You never know. But on paper, I don't think any team really comes close to the Lahore Qalandars right now. Batting and bowling, they've got the best kind of balance. They're building form. They love playing at home as well. So this little home stretch is going to help them build a bit of a lead, you'd imagine. And you can just tell they're unchanged. Quetta's the one who's making all the changes. So they're very settled.
Right. Naseem coming in here for the second delivery. Finds that good length and full and straight outside. Off stump. Direct hit would have been interesting as the runner was caught wandering. Umaid Asif to fielder. And welcome to everybody on the chat. Not Dijink has already started with his really good rendition of Karachi Kings kit that has a lion drowning on it in the blue abyss. I think that's very appropriate considering the way their season is going. I think Multan Sultans, AZ, are pretty much up there. They could give you guys a run for their money this season. Otherwise, with the Rashid Khan addition and Sam Billings coming to as a batting reinforcement, you can't look beyond Lahore.
Yeah, MS very settled side. Of course, they know how to play. उनकी भी rarely एक दो changes होती हैं. But a bit of a soft underbelly when chasing थोड़ा सा expose हुआ था उस दिन against KK. But they look very formidable as well, for sure.
Well, we also know it's good to have a bad game early in the tournament rather than wait for it towards the end. Slip in place for Naseem Shah as he goes full outside off stump, man. That's carved away from Fakhr Zaman, bouncing over the practice pitches, and that quick Gaddafi outfield will help it go all the way for 4. 5 for no loss after 3. One thing that we've noticed this year, guys.
90 miles per hour की ball उसने आराम से guide किए through covers. What a beautiful shot.
वैसे काफी बैट्समैन की हम बात करते हैं कि they look like they have that extra second, so to speak. Fakhr is often like that, even though he's not the most orthodox guy with the bat in hand.
Yeah, he's very languid, isn't he? He's got that very kind of, not quite lazy, but there is a bit of an economy of movement to the way he plays his cricket, especially early in his innings. He's obviously associated with that acceleration. I'll break off.
Oh, go on. I think this is out. I'm sorry to interrupt you out there, but I think we've got a direct hit here. Just bunted down to mid-on. Fakhr Zaman took off. But once again, I think it's Umaid Asif who's found the stumps. They're going to go upstairs to check as they typically do these days.
और QG के साथ हमेशा ही कोई हमारा weird match होता है. समझ से बाहर है. Once again challenging Umaid at mid-on, and this time absolutely shattered the sticks. And I think Fakhr might be in trouble here. He might be
This is a huge wicket in the context of the game, and it's out. It is certainly out. Oh, Quetta have got a wicket from nowhere. It's hard enough to dismiss this man through a regulation dismissal, but a run out is exactly what they needed. And Lahore, even though they've got a long batting order now, but I think this is really going to disrupt them. 5 for 1 after just 4 deliveries.
Yeah, that's a big blow for Quetta immediately. Like being on it with their fielding. That's good. I mean, they don't have to worry about that Fakhr acceleration. He played really, really well in the last couple of games. He's starting to find some form, some fluency, that destructiveness that he's associated with. Getting him run out early is a bonus, and it'll fire them up as well. It'll also help them sort of steal a few deliveries here in the power play, probably. Although, well, let's see who they send out at number 3. They've got many options, of course, Lahore. They could go with anybody, but I mean, I imagine it'll be Sam Billings. Do you think they'll go with Billings or Shafiq at this point?
Shafiq is the man that's walked in fact.
Yeah, तुम्हारी feed मुझसे आगे है. In England, we get this nice delayed 4K feed. So, yeah. Well done. Thanks for the spoiler alert.
हमें सिर्फ 0.8K मिलती है, लेकिन जल्दी मिल जाती है.
0.
हमें इस वक्त अभी भी मेरे सामने फ्राइड चिकन के इश्तेहार चल रहे हैं.
यार उसमें
Well, that's the feed I want. That's for sure.
What channel is it on in the UK?
It's on Sky Sports, but yeah, but the thing is, Sky's covering a lot of cricket at the same time. So yesterday's match was delayed by, the broadcast was delayed. So nobody in England got to see Mohammad Amir's display yesterday against Bashar Zalmi in the first 4 overs.
Here comes the team's 5th delivery as this is punched over the bowler's head straight to mid-off for no run. Now this is somebody I'm really.
वैसे ये आतिफ आमिर ने I think 100 भी 2 बार खेला था. Last season कैसा गया था इसका?
Not great. He ended up getting dropped very quickly, and they brought in that Scottish bowler जिसका नाम मेरे दिमाग से निकल गया.
Soul या Bradwell ऐसा कुछ नाम होगा.
Bradwell था. हाँ, Bradwell को लेके आए थे उसकी जगह पे. लेकिन I think he's got a very good agent here in England. उसको यार gigs बार-बार मिल जाते हैं. उसने club cricket भी खेली है, county भी खेली है, 100 भी खेली है. तो I think he might still get picked up this year.
Yeah, but I'm not
Honestly,
sure.
He's been in decent bowling form in franchise leagues this season.
Naseem this time goes good length as he found the edge. Surfraz takes it, but there's an appeal from the bowler, though. I think it was just a swing. Gets a lot of lateral movement on that. A great over for the Quetta Gladiators to start off with. 5 for 1 after the first start of the Lahore Qalandars. And I've said this in my last game. I'm saying it again. Abdullah Shafiq is that guy. I know there's a lot of murmurs around all these new young batsmen, even one last night that took Peshawar Zalmi home. But I think Shafiq is the complete package because we know that he's got all the shots, he's got all the regulations down because he's a test opener. But the way he's exploded into this PSL, the kind of shots he's playing behind the keeper's head, behind square, and he's hitting those big sixes, I think he's Pakistan's next all-format batter.
Yeah, I think Pakistan. I would like to see Pakistan move away from thinking about all format batters personally. Like, yeah, everything you said about Abdullah Shafiq is fine. Like, that all makes sense and that's fine. But for me, like, I like the idea of someone like a Saim Ayub being featured in a T20 side, someone like a Hasibullah being groomed for an ODI, and maybe a bit of T20 as well. Like, there's so many of these excellent players that have come through. Like, this is the first time you've seen batters continuously outshine the bowlers, the new batters, the new exciting T20 batters, moving away from this psychology of, like, anchor batting. Like, I really love to see it. There's so many of them. Abdullah is probably the most polished of them all, and that's fine. I accept that. But I think there's a lot of competition for the next breakout star in Pakistan.
Look, I think we're moving into that lineup where we have a slightly different team. We saw last year that there was a complete difference between our ODI T20 sides and what we saw in the test matches. A good delivery by Odean Smith goes short right away outside off stump, defended by Shafiq for no run. Now, Odean Smith, somebody that I really didn't consider to be a good pick during the draft, but he's proven me wrong. He's done decently for Quetta Gladiators, barring a couple games. Fasih joining us in the chat saying, the F1 opening titles for the 2023 season just dropped. Yeah, that was quite nice. Ahmed is saying Saim can't do T20. He's really bad on the slow delivery. But Abdullah Shafiq makes sense in ODIs. Ahmed agreeing with Atif there as Odean gears up for the second delivery. It's in the air, flicked away off his hips for a single to square leg. 6 for 1 now after 1.2. AZ, what do you think? He's your boy, Abdullah Shafiq. You guys pointed him out early. He's been a really good pick.
Yeah, खेल सकता है all format, but वही है जो आतिफ ने बात की. We don't want to कभी hold everybody कि भाई तू भी हर सारे format खेल, and that mixture can perhaps be a detriment to their game as well. I think Abdullah, one down in T20. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think we might have better options than him.
Oh, it's a short delivery this time. Comes out not clearly onto the bat, to be honest. It's coming on a little slow for Tahir Beg, who pulls this just for the one. A great start here again. But we've noticed, Atif, in this year's PSL, it was actually pointed out by one of our participants on the chat, Meher was her name, saying that the power play has mattered a lot less in this year's Pakistan Super League season. Last night was the perfect example.
Yeah, I think, that whole kind of scoring a certain amount of runs in a power play thing has gone by the wayside. I'll break off.
Shafiq goes big, and he's connected over square leg over 6. That's a hell of a shot.
That's a tiny boundary.
It is a small.
It's so small. No, he's so small. But no, it's a good shot. Like, I mean, I think he'd worked out that Odin Smith has committed to the short pitch line. Everything he's bowled so far has been either back of the length or bang on
यार ये
short.
अच्छा
And
खासा
Abdullah
150
waited
का
on
बॉलर
it.
होता था, ये 135 136 क्यों करा रहा है ये?
या ये करियर को भी अपना खेलना है ना, उसने 20 साल क्रिकेट खेलना है, अगर 150 देता रहेगा तो वही शोएब अख्तर वाला हाल होगा. So I think he's been clever here just to maximize his input, but at the same time, like, you can understand his strategy.
83 84 डाल तो क्यों 90 के लिए ट्राई करके कमर तोड़वाएगा अपनी? खेल पूरी जिंदगी.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल.
13 for 1. First 6 of the day goes to Abdullah Shafiq. Oh, what a delivery. He's cut him in half. Odin Smith misses everything. He was hoping for an inside edge or maybe a top of off even. And Shafiq lucky to still be out there. Great movement. I think that was the seam.
अच्छी खासी निप हुई है, देखा. Good bounce as well.
Yeah, I think they've worked out that back of a length area is the one, just behind the length. So he's going a little bit too short initially, and Shafiq sort of flattered him a little bit by not really timing it or getting a hold of it. But except for the 6, of course. But this one, just on that nice little length, just came back in. Little of uncertainty for the batter. Let's see what happens next.
The dot delivery this time. Good comeback from Odin after conceding that 6. Still not a bad over from him. Just 8 off it. 13 for 1 after 2. Speaking of the Formula 1, Atif, I know that AZ absolutely hates the sport. Do you ever dabble in the racing?
It's not a sport, bro.
There it is.
Yeah, look, I'll be very honest with you, right? I can't get into any sports where a machine is doing all of the work for you.
Exactly.
So I'm not a big. I'm like, if you enjoy it, good for you. My brother loves it. He talks about tuning engines and all that kind of stuff. But it's not really for me. But I'm really pleased you enjoy it. Yeah, I'm very happy for you.
Yeah, look.
ये सारे ड्राइव टू सर्वाइव वाले मर्चेंट से एक दो सीरीज क्या देख ली, बस समझते कि प्यो बन गया फोन के.
यार वैसे let's talk about the Drive to Survive impact on Formula 1. I've never seen
It is very entertaining, I must admit. I watch it
a
as well.
single,
It's very good.
but AZ, not just the fact that it's entertaining, and I know that a lot of guys in the comments are going to disagree with Atif. We won't go down that rabbit hole. It's a long conversation, but what I'm trying to say is that the financial impact that Drive to Survive has had on Formula 1, guys, I mean, I'll give you an example for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, right? You could buy tickets on the weekend
The Grand
of...
Prix बोला करो, सही लफ्ज़ बोलो यार.
On the weekend of the race, you could have bought tickets. Now, the race is sold out at least 6 months in advance. That's how different, as this is another over. Umaid Asif beginning the third. 3 bowlers using the first 3 from Quetta. Starts off with a dot delivery. Will we ever see a series or movie like that for cricket? Will there be a tipping point that's beyond South Asia and the few countries that are outside of it that are diehard?
Yeah, I think IPL एक काफी compelling सा बना सकता है, लेकिन फिर उन्होंने Bollywoodize करना पड़ता है, वो छिछोरपन डालना पड़ता है, इसलिए वो खराब हो जाता है product. Otherwise they can do it. Why not?
Yeah, I think you could drive to survive cricket. Maybe a T20 World Cup series, driven away to backward point, no run.
उसमें drive नहीं, it's a drive to make the others extinct in the game वाला scene चल रहा है, reverse scene चल रहा है.
That's a bit unfortunate. 13 for 1 after 2.2.
Yeah, there's not that commitment you'd hope for from India as like a leader in world cricket to kind of grow the game. They think about it very commercially, and of course that's their prerogative. If they want to think about the money, that's up to them. I guess it is a commercial sport, but long term, the growth of cricket is going to rely very much on the investment that the main full members put into it. But people are seeing the value in it.
Oh, he skied this, Tahir Beg. It was a good length delivery. Should have been put away, but it's going to be taken. Cotton ball. Umaid Asif involved in both the wickets already for the Gladiators. And out comes the Iron Man celebration. You love to see it. He's in his late 30s now, this man. But doesn't look a day over a fresh, young, fast bowler's age. 13 for 2 now after 2.5. Quetta all over the Qalandars right now.
It's that short length again. It's just bothering everybody. That short length, everything that's sort of back of a length. The bounce isn't quite there. There's a little bit of pressure. That old school thinking about the power play. We've got to try and cash in while the fielder's inside. He's not quite settled, and he goes for this big booming pull shot, top edge up in the air. It was always going to be in trouble. Good start by Umaid. A great start for Quetta. Yeah. All of a sudden, looks like a different game. But obviously, with the caveat that Lahore is the longest batting lineup since. I don't know, the Chennai Super Kings in 2009.
13 for 2 after 2.5.
ये मैं हमेशा बार-बार कहता हूँ, a QG match versus Lahore is always something weird happens. कुछ ना कुछ out of script, out of syllabus होता है.
But I think that's also because Quetta have a lot to lose, AZ. This is a knockout game essentially. Quetta.
उनके लिए तो definitely drive to survive वाली game है. They're 1 out of 5, I believe.
We
So
are
if they
1
can
out
get
of
up to
5,
2 out of 6, maybe 3 out of 7, get some momentum, why not?
Let's see what some of the comments in the chat are saying. Someone's asking about Shoaib Jutt. We do not where he is. We do not know where he is, and we don't really care. Some people want to cancel Atif because of his opinions on Formula One, which is completely fine. I agree with that. Meher is saying Imad and Umaid haircuts. Thank God. Okay, that's good news. Ash is saying if we have a DTS type series for cricket, Shoaib Akhtar should be the narrator and writer.
यार वैसे ये second season of the test was also hella boring यार.
It was
बहुत ही
bad.
फारिग थी वो.
It was bad.
Very bad.
Do you know what? I still haven't got around to seeing it.
Driven this time straight to point from
वो
Billings.
एक episode है जब when they're like really propping up Babar because obviously they won the series. वो अच्छा था for our sake. Otherwise बहुत फारिग series थी. बहुत boring थी.
Yeah. Vasey's talking about the fact that the buy-in fee for a Formula One team has gone from $200 million to $600 because of the show. Yeah,
भाई
Rafa's,
DTS और ये Queen's Gambit की वजह से chess भी कितना online chess इतना exponentially grow हो चुका है भाई. These algorithms are dominating our lives.
Edge, this time it goes round to third man for a single off the mark. Sam Billings, Lahore, 14 for 2. A good comment here from Rafa. I actually watched this series. The Mumbai Indians did a whole season on Netflix.
बहुत boring थी यार. I tried to watch it. It was so boring. Got sick of it like after 3-4 episodes.
14 for 2. Ahmed's asking us to skip the Formula One talk today and the food talk and talk about how good Babar Azam was as a captain last night and how bad Imad was. Now, I'm not sure if I agree with that, but let's explore that after this delivery. 14 for 2 after 2.5. Remember, Quetta did win the toss, and so far...
Rafa, the test is on Amazon Prime, bro. उधर आप देख सकते हो.
Yeah. Umaid this time goes full and outside off, and I must say that AZ Khwaja was the man on this stream that said if he had a PSL team, Umaid Asif would be one of the first few names on that list, and he's proving so why. Umaid 1 for 1 in his first over. So, Babar bad, Babar good, Imad bad. What's the scene?
I don't know if I agree with that at all. I think they're both at different kind of stages in their captaincy cycles. Like captain's always sort of developing, and I actually really enjoyed what Salman Butt had to say about it a few days ago. He wasn't talking about captaincy specifically, but he did talk about it in tangentially. And yeah, I mean, look. I feel bad for Imad. He's putting in some cracking performances. He's kind of been made the pantomime villain ahead of this particular edition. And Babar gets a hard time from a lot of the commentators about not being attacking enough, particularly in the power play up front when he's got the other team on the rocks. Why are they putting slips in, slip? Like, he doesn't like to play multiple slips. He's slightly more defensive, but he gets a really hard time for that. But also in the same passage of play, you'll notice that nothing takes an outside edge, so there's no actual chances lost. So what are we really complaining about? Like, it's such a subjective thing to complain about. I'll break off.
Yeah. This time Billings works it past to down to third man for a single. Shafiq now on strike. Lahore 15 for 2. So you're fine with the way Imad's been captaining the Kings. Is what I hear.
यार इमाद की कैप्टनसी ठीक थी. वो बैटिंग ऑर्डर खराब था. मतलब तुम इरफान नियाजी को क्यों भेज रहे हो जब मुजीब के 2-3 ओवर पड़े. मलिक का क्या काम था. That was the point where you needed to build an aggressive partnership against spin, and that is where I felt they gave the game away in the run chase.
Yeah, look, Karachi now have a really massive mountain to climb this season. 15 for 2. So far, Lahore also dug themselves a hole here as Shafiq drives beautifully through the offside, but mid-off will get around to cut it off, and it'll just be a single.
It's really difficult in the PSL to work out which decision is being taken by the backroom staff or your coaching staff. In Karachi's case, Wasim Akram and his whole crew over there, and in Peshawar's case, you can imagine that Babar is taking a very heavy position just based on what we know about his kind of weight and gravity in the Pakistan setup. So you can imagine that Babar is probably very active in that setup, but at the same time, like, it's very hard. The strategies in franchises are devised in a very different way to international cricket.
Yeah, just comes down the track that this one Billings will play back to the mid-off fielder for no run. Boundaries are still dried up here for the Qalandars. We'll be looking more from this first 6, but
Naveen ul Haq क्यों select होता है? I really don't understand. He's so bang average.
Yeah, well, in a league where fast bowling talent is quite abundant, I'm not sure either, AZ, because you're also utilizing a foreign pick.
Umar Zaif or Zalmi was really, really good yesterday. Very impressive.
Yeah. No, there's some serious fast bowling talent coming through from across the border on both sides. 16 for 2 after 3.3. Pulled away this time. Square leg. It takes the catch. Billings has to go now. Lahore in heaps of trouble here as Quetta tighten the noose around their neck. 16 for 3 and just within the 4 overs, AZ.
यार क्या कर रहे हो Billings? The shot was on, but वही है, you found the only fielder on the leg side. Good catch by Smido. And well, I'll have to eat some crow here. Naveen ul Haq हमारे main batter को out कर गया.
And it's the short length again. It's the one that's, causing the damage. It's not as consistent a surface at the moment. Maybe because they've played a few games on it already, or it's not been rolled in the same way. There was a bit of rain, actually, apparently, just before the game started. So that might be affecting the way the ball's coming on. And it's, again, they've persevered. They've been so good about standing by this strategy. All 4 of these bowlers, in fact, so far, for Quetta. So you got to give them their props. That short length is paying off. Challenging Sam Billings to try and go over that fielder, knowing that he's unlikely to time it straight away. And Lahore in a bit of trouble. Although,
overall आपकी क्या राय है Billings पे? उसमें है वो England वाली बात. He does have a one-day 100 to his name. Played a few tests here and there, but never really nailed down a spot.
Yeah, England's T20 team is possibly the most competitive space in the world, particularly if you're a batter. So I just don't think he's got. Yeah, मुझे नहीं लगता उसकी जगह बनती है उस टीम में इस वक्त. खास करके क्योंकि जो इससे आगे भी क्यू में काफी लोग अभी बैठे हुए हैं जिनकी अभी प्रॉपर बारी नहीं आई. अभी आप सोचिए हैरी ब्रुक को शायद फिट नहीं किया जाएगा. जब जॉनी बेस्टो फिर से अवेलेबल होगा तो क्या होगा इस इंग्लैंड टीम का? उसमें कोई जगह नहीं है. Like they could genuinely, like look, people I know, like back in the day, Hardik Pandya made that really flippant comment about the Indian teams playing multiple games, but England
gets
could
quoted every day.
do it. Yeah, England could do it. It could genuinely do it right now with the batting में. Yeah, 100% batting में 100%.
Batting
but
में
what
तो I
about
think
the
they make
ODI
top
setup? अब टेस्ट में भी अब फोक्स आगे निकल गया. I guess वो ज्यादा अच्छा कीपर है.
Frankly, ये जो उन्होंने system किया यार, this is such a brilliant way to break up your team, to have 2 different squads for red ball and white ball. But like in England, they can afford to do that. They can make money from red ball
delivery
cricket.
from Naveen ul Haq, who's got 2 slips now in his bowling. Safraz really backing the Afghan bowler here as Talat Hassan just shoulders arms to this one, leaves it alone. 3.5 gone, 16 for 3.
यार वैसे चिक्के वाली बॉल थी, आपस की बात है यार.
थोड़ी सी तो movement
क्या यार.
That shot from Billings, though, I think he should have gone all the way.
वही मैं कह रहा हूँ ना, 6 वाली बॉल थी, and that's his shot as well. ये भी अपनी थोड़ी मिनी पसली शॉट मारता है.
It's just the fact of the unevenness previously, like the fact that he's not quite got to grips with the pitch of the surface, and he's not got a hold of it. That's probably what did it for him.
This time, it's just an inside edge over to the leg side for a single. And the end of the 4th over, 17 for 3. Our Quetta Lahore Qalandars. Atif, I've got a question for you, and you can completely blindside me on this if it's too controversial. But I feel like when we do change of pace, we do it as Pakistan fans. We do it as people that are from Pakistan. And also, we are surrounded by most people that are affiliated, associated, or fans of Pakistan cricket. That often pigeonholes us into certain opinions and certain thinkings. And what I'm moving towards is the opinion on the IPL and just the relationships that we have with that league specifically. I won't go into the relationships with the country, but with the league specifically. There was an article in the Telegraph about a year and a half, 2 years ago. I can't remember the author. And it was written by an author from the UK about how we need to consider the kind of completely ignoring Pakistan players from the IPL and how nobody's talking about that enough. But besides that article, not much has been said about that little caveat about the IPL. What I want to ask is, you work
और लंबा सवाल कर लो मुसाद, 3-4 और मिनट लगा लो तुम.
You work with some of the best commentators around the world. Is that something that's on other people's mind, or is that just a Pakistani thing? Do other people even notice it?
By the way, in between there was a play and a miss from Talat outside the off stump. I'm completely. I can tell you that there's an insane amount of sympathy for Pakistan, but no active support. So England will acknowledge that it's unfair. Sorry, I'll just tell you what happened.
Just punches this past point for 4. That's a really good-looking shot. Probably the best of the night. But yeah, go for it, Atif.
Yeah, absolutely. Rode the bounce nicely that time. But yeah, so there's a lot of sympathy from like.
ये कि इस अंग्रेज सिंपैथी की भी कोई वैल्यू नहीं जब इन्होंने जिम्बाब्वे को ब्लैकलिस्ट किया for nothing. इनसे बंदों से क्या बात करें इन लोगों से?
Yeah, इनके साथ.
obvious.
You see, when you're in international cricket, is like Game of Thrones, bro. Like you can't.
Exactly.
You have to work out who's your allies at the right time. Who is going to help you out when you need that. Pakistan has to create an ecosystem where they can survive without Indian support.
It's like virus, maybe.
Yeah. So the thing is that everybody acknowledges it's very unfair, and it's become up even more.
Punched the mid off for no run for just a single.
वो एक मीम नहीं है उसकी जेरेमी क्लार्कसन की ओ हाउ सैड एनीवे वो वाला सीन है
हाँ यार ये वाला सीन है लेकिन अब इस बार थोड़ा सा ज्यादा हो रहा है क्योंकि ये जो वुमेन्स प्रीमियर लीग शुरू हो रही है इसके पीछे बहुत ज्यादा हाइप थी कि दिस इज अ बिग मोमेंट फॉर वुमेन्स स्पोर्ट्स अ बिग मोमेंट फॉर दिस इज अ बिग मोमेंट फॉर दैट इट विल मूव थिंग्स फॉरवर्ड बट यू नो many people including Alison Mitchell who's like you know a world renowned cricket journalist and you know she's very well respected. She took up the mantle that you can't clearly call it progress when it's exclusionary at its core. And like I was really impressed that she took that line as somebody who works in India as an ex-Bulls player to cover for no run. Yeah, so there is that whole element of we need to make sure that these things come together. I think if Pakistan. Pakistan's obviously going to go to the World Cup, right? They're not going to not go to the World Cup, even if India doesn't come for the Asia Cup. We know that's going to happen. Yeah. But I think some of the hypocrisies are going to start becoming so clear that people will be compelled to kind of group around Pakistan. Pakistan's done quite well just to make itself a bit more of a commercial hub, in spite of being isolated by India, which is very impressive. Obviously, numbers don't compare. As the next ball's clipped to mid-wicket. Sorry, I'll just tell you they've run a single as well.
No, go for it.
नहीं खैर है यार अपनी बात करो ये कौन सा कुछ छिक्के चौके
नहीं यार बताओ क्या BBC में एक चीज मैं अहमद को बताया था उस दिन the ball is paramount. You should never ever interrupt the ball. Every ball must be described.
इधर हम paramount हैं और ये
क्या बात है.
No, fair enough, Atif. Go for it. Go for it.
No, so this is the thing. Like, it's people are massively sympathetic. People are very supporting. People see the opportunity as well because it's a great opportunity for people like people like Sam Billings and Harry Brook who came over and did what he did, and all these great English players who get a chance to come here and get some exposure, make some money, build a fan base, build a social media presence. Like the Pakistani cricket has a lot to offer, so it will survive despite being isolated by India. Oh, in terms of Pakistani response to the IPL, I'll be honest with you. With the score's 23 for 3, by the way, after 5 overs. Like I watch the IPL because I work on it. The BBC employs me to commentate on the IPL, and I can't say I don't enjoy it. I acknowledge that there's there's an unfair situation going on. The Pakistani players aren't allowed to participate, and I make a point of it. I make a point of saying really annoying things when I'm commentating on it. Like somebody will, this is like the showcase of the best players in the world. I always say something like, well, the showcase of some of the best players in the world.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of subliminal.
Like select few, rare few.
Right, let's continue here as one of the best in the world. Shafiq just flicks this over mid-on for 4. That's a comfortable hit. Naveen Ul-Haq turned into a half volley there outside off stump. It was there to be hit, and it was 27 for 3 after 5.1. The current run rate still less than run a ball. And thank you for that detailed response, Atif. Not just your specific stance on it, but more importantly, the environment that you're surrounded with. I think we're kind of glad as Pakistan fans that that voice is being heard slowly and surely. And yeah, for sure, it was kind of... It is kind of sad that the women's IPL is exclusionary, although there will be a short women's league in Pakistan.
मतलब इसमें वो आप women's rights angle भी आ जाता है ना, तो इस पे तो definitely वो लोग उनको मतलब of course वो कभी जवाब नहीं देंगे, but that extra pressure is always good. Although we should look to build our own league, women's league जो हम करने वाले थे.
Yeah.
But certainly it does factor into that. और वाकई इसमें क्या women's cricket में आपने कौन से खरबों रुपए आपको मिलने थे कि चलो पाकिस्तानी players आपके product को devalue करते, women's cricketers ने कौन सा devalue कर देना था. So that was a very well done from Alison Mitchell. Really appreciate it for that.
For 3 after 5.2. But at the same time, AZ, like even if they had said, yeah, no, please send your women's cricketers over, should we have? Probably not. That would have been the wrong thing to do as well. Because you can't just...
I think PCB obviously नहीं बेचती कहती हमारे men's को तुमने मना किया, women's कैसे जाने देंगे, सवाल ही नहीं पैदा होता.
Right. Naveen Ul-Haq?
See, I disagree with that. I completely and I firmly disagree with that.
Oh, really?
I'll describe the ball and I'll tell you afterwards.
Sure. Naveen Ul-Haq this time. Ball him! Hussain Talat's gone. Middle stump's been knocked back. What a start this is for the Gladiators. 28 for 4 now. The Qalandars are just in complete tatters. Inside the power play, they've lost 4 wickets with, next to no runs on the board almost.
When you need him?
यार ये नवीन उल हक कहाँ कितना गोल्डन पिक है इनके लिए
यार तो लाइन में तो आओ यार गधे
It just came in a tiny bit, but you're right. He shouldn't be beaten.
Straight ball. He missed the line.
He shouldn't be beaten by that at all. That's a really poor dismissal for
He's like
Hussain Talib.
132 kph, man.
थोड़ी सी मूवमेंट थी यार इजी इस तरह ना करो
यार आपके लिए तो जाहिर सी थी, हमारे लिए तो सीधी गेंद थी. हैं शाहीन आ गया. What the hell? Let's see.
What is Shaheen Afridi doing at number 6?
What
is going on? हाँ शाहीन अंदर आ गया.
Bro, what is going on right now?
This is captaincy. This is all about captaincy. He's got a feel.
And there's a conference of Quetta players about this decision, by the way.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they're planning where to go for dinner tonight in Lahore. I think that's what they're discussing at the moment with the situation. They might get an early dinner in at this point. But yeah, Shaheen, I mean, this is very curious. There's still plenty of batting to come for Lahore, obviously. You got Sikandar Raza, you got Rashid Khan, David Visa. I mean, I'd argue all three of them belong ahead of Shaheen. But he's decided to come out. This is very
I back you all day with that argument, honestly. I have no idea what Shaheen Afridi's doing out there.
शायद क्योंकि नवाज आएगा बॉलिंग पे खब्बा बैटर हो something like that.
Don't justify this, AZ.
No.
अभी उसने 30
no
मार दी आपके सामने, फिर आप क्या बोलोगे?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'd be curious to see what he does here, like what the role is. Is it to get some quick fire runs and get some momentum? Is it just to play a weird anchor?
I think this could be a T20 defining moment.
PSL defining moment हो गया कि शाहीन क्लिक हो गया इधर.
28 for 4, Shaheen Afridi, first ball to Naveen al-Haq.
Wow,
defended with a straight back.
Rock solid.
Brian Charles Shaheen for no run.
Yeah, I tell you what, you don't get this in the IPL.
What is he, number 10 for Pakistan usually?
Number 10 for Pakistan usually, yes. I've never seen, like, I don't know who number, like, I don't know, Bhuvneshwar Kumar, Jasprit Bumrah, whoever you want to say. I've never seen them come out and bat at number 6. Certainly not in the 6th over of an innings as well. Like, this is bizarre.
सही है यार.
अच्छा, दूसरा point.
थोड़ा सा spice आया.
Well, after this over, we'll get to that in a second.
किधर जा रहा है? आराम से
Just a dot delivery this time worked away from Afridi's, almost shoulder length. It's a bouncer attempted.
यार 130.8 kph पे कोई बोल्ड हो रहे हो तुम हुसैन तलत यार.
ये speed obsession क्या है यार? Like, you can, if you hit a good length and you stay nagging, you can be effective.
I can't appreciate anybody who exists below 135. There's a line.
Yeah, what you need is
ये pace की.
यार तुम्हें change of pace की ज़रूरत है.
Oh, nice.
Shout out.
Last ball of the power play coming up, 28 for 4. It's been all Quetta Gladiators, all purple rain tonight.
Ash Kenna just needs Sarfraz to come to bowl one bouncer to Shaheen.
Yeah. Naveen this time goes for the good length, keeps it a little low, and Afridi flicks it away for a single, in fact.
20, भाई आज 50 है शाहीन की, आप कंफर्म कर लें.
29 for 4 after 6. Atif, let's go back to that earlier opinion.
Yeah, so the opinion was, so you guys said that if India had invited the Pakistani women, the PCB shouldn't have sent them on the basis that the men's team isn't invited. Why should the women go? I would argue the women need to go a lot more than the men need to go. Pakistan's men's team is one of the best in the world and has been for a very long time. Pakistan's women's team desperately needs exposure to more world-class players, to more like high-intensity environments. That's the one thing that's been lacking. जब पाकिस्तान और इंग्लैंड का टूर जब कैंसिल हुआ था, जो अगले साल ने मेंस का रीअरेंज करके 7 T20 कर दिए थे, उसमें औरतों के भी 2 मैच थे, वो कभी रीशेड्यूल हुए ही नहीं. Like those women's players need that exposure, need that environment way more than the men do. It's a moment to swallow your pride, accept the short-term benefits, and improve. Use a rare opportunity to improve.
फॉलो करें, ये गलत बात है ना यार. You have to.
लेकिन यार देखो, आपको फायदा क्या हो रहा है यार? आपको फायदा ज्यादा हो रहा है. आपकी टीम को जो उससे फायदा होगा is much better. It's not just about the WPL in that point. You make an impression. You get a chance to get picked in, more players to get picked in the Big Bash, not just Nidadar. You get more chance for other players to get picked in tournaments like the 100. I know some of them have gone into the draft, but I doubt any of them are going to get picked. Is the truth, right? Just because nobody's seen them much outside of the T20 World Cup.
Right, Odin is continuing outside the power play. First ball's no run of it off.
This is going to be like it or not, this is going to be huge, right? The WPL is going to get an enormous amount of coverage. It's going to drown out social media. Various women are going to be under more spotlight than they've ever been before. That could have been some of these Pakistani women as well. I think that's worth sending them rather than some weird kind of, nahi, hume nahi khele diya, to inko kyun bhejo, unko nahi bulaya. Like, so this is not a moment to be like proud. This is a moment to try and take advantage. Mind you, it's a moot point. It didn't happen. But if it was up to me, I would absolutely send them.
pulled away to square leg. I think Atif is being extremely practical in his decision making, but as is in most cases, people in general are just not practical beings. And if you factor in the emotion, then it becomes a different context. The reasoning you've provided, though, Atif, I don't think anybody can disagree with. 31 for 4 after 6.2.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's like the whole thing, right? You cut off your nose to spite your face. Like, it's one of those things. It's like, no, you didn't let me do that, so I'm not going to do this. It's a different thing. If anything, this could serve as a gateway to resuming bilateral relations. If the Pakistan women's team go over there, they take some more fun social media pictures. You got loads of people playing with baby Fatima again. You know, all these heartwarming, beautiful scenes happen again. All of a sudden, this chat about getting the men's team over. It's a gateway. It's a step in the right direction. What's wrong with that?
Look, again, 31 for 4 after 6.2. These outcomes and these ideas are...
What
a shot! Shaheen Afridi clears the front leg and drives it through the offside for 4. Where has this come from? That's not a slog, that's a proper hit.
ओए भाई पैसा वसूल हम बेशक हार जाएं. It was worth it for that shot.
That shot alone.
That was gorgeous. There was a bit of Rovman Powell about that shot. The way he just sort of leaned into it and leathered it like पुरानी दुश्मनी कोई बॉल के साथ पूरी की है अभी इस वक्त.
I'm just dumbfounded by that stroke, to be fair. I didn't expect that from Shaheen. I know he can hit the big sixes, but that's a different level of a shot, to be fair. 35 for 4 after 6.5, as Lahore are trying everything, to be fair. Afridi in at number 6. Odin continuing to him. Oh, he goes big. He skied this. A lot of height on it, but it doesn't have the distance. Falls safely between two fielders on the leg side, and they'll come back for a couple. Good running there.
थोड़ा सा risky shot खेल रहे हो against the swing, but
is this the pure definition of a low value wicket, AZ? Is this what a low value wicket looks like?
यार ये तो HVW कहाँ से आप LVW बना रहे हो? शाहीन हमारा कैप्टन है यार.
Yeah, मतलब he's a fast bowling hero, but as a batter, does he really have a value as a wicket?
Let's see. He's always developed his batting, and we saw his heroics last season against Zalmi in that unforgettable game.
He's 9 off
that
7.
Sleeping dead rubber that came to life.
True. He's got a highest of, I think, 30.
ये सरखेल को जरा आप ऐड करें.
Slow delivery this time. And it's a...
Let me in.
It'll be a dot
इतने
delivery.
threat के साथ क्यों लेकर हो सरखेल? ठीक है यार. Easy हो जाओ.
Decent crowd in at the Gaddafi. That's one feature of the Lahore leg of this tournament. Even on a Monday night, on the weekday nights, the guys have...
Even Pindi, yaar, great crowd last night. Wonderful stuff.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure. And mind you...
It took him a while to get in, though.
Yeah, wow. I heard about that fan experience. Long walks to the stadium, a lack of water. The PCB still not treating the most important, or at least second most important stakeholder of the sport.
They make entering a PSL stadium into some kind of, Rambo mission bana dete hain ye log.
Honestly, it'd be easier to just get into a Navy SEALs program at this point. Slow delivery, punched away through the offside. No run, but a good shot again from Afridi.
And welcome Sarkhel 7 on air, and with that I think I'll bid adieu, hoping Lahore do well. Atif, it was a lovely chat, and please keep coming yaar. We need you here in Change of Pace.
यार इसी तफरी तो करके जाओ यार.
यार तुम किस लिए खुश हो रहे हो? तुम कब है हमारा मैच तुम लोगों के साथ? ये नेक्स्ट वीक है ना इसी दिन.
ये क्वेटा से कौन इतना?
भाई हम अभी भी जीत रहे हैं. मैं आपको
I don't think Islamabad have any legs to stand on. 90 all out.
यार हम क्वेटा से तो नहीं आ रहे ना.
But still 90 all out.
ठीक है, टॉप टीम से हम आ रहे हैं ना. हम मतलब मुल्तान लाहौर से आ रहे हैं ना. क्वेटा कराची से तो नहीं आ रहे ना.
नहीं, आप हारे नहीं हो, आप बिस्ट हो. एक फर्क होता है.
कोई बात नहीं यार. This is a part of life.
37 for 4 after 7. Atif, are you actually a Lahore fan, or are we just putting you in that bracket because
Lahori है यार, क्या हो गया
you're Lahori?
Yeah, I'm a Lahore fan, absolutely. I think it's like anything else. When you know,
he sounds so convincing. I think he hasn't convinced himself yet.
No. Look, I've got all the shirts. I said this the other day. I've got the Isab Gold Ka Chilka Wali shirts as well, right? I've got all of them. I don't have the new one yet. I don't know how to get a hold of it, but I'm working on it. But yeah, I am a Lahore fan. I just tend to talk broadly about cricket, so I don't go nuts with my fandom.
Yeah.
I don't wear it on my sleeve like AZ does, but I'm exactly like AZ.
38 for 4 after 7.1, just a single off the first ball, and Nawaz is over. I tell you what, Quetta have not been shy with using all of their bowlers available today. I think they've already used 5 of them, and we're about 8 overs into the game. So a lot of changes from Sarfaraz Ahmed, but frankly, they've all been working, so why the hell not? Shafiq is 15 off 12. Shaheen is 9 off 9 as The crowd continues to pour in to the Gaddafi Stadium even on a Thursday night. Lahore will be fine to experiment in this game, even if they end up in the wrong side of the result. Quetta, well, not so much. It's almost a knockout game for them. This is driven down a long off for the 1. 7.2 overs gone, 39 for 4. Atif, let's talk a little bit about your travel. I know you and I have been talking off air a little bit about that. And just recently, you were jet setting across Japan, the Far East. Tell us about that. Tell us how that was. Any pointers, any do's or do nots? This is clipped away down a fine leg. It's running, just barely running down there as Umaid Asif stops it from going for 4 to just be a single.
Oh man, Japan is incredible. Like, it was kind of a last minute. It was my birthday last year, right? And I was kind of like alone and miserable. And I called my mum, and she's like, "Don't be alone and miserable. Get on a plane, go somewhere." I think she meant like somewhere like France or somewhere in Europe or something.
Yeah.
But like, I ended up I thought, what the hell? Let's go to Japan.
Oh, that's a hell of a sweep shot from Shaheen Afridi. Square leg is not going to get to it. It's another boundary with the captain. The experiment so far is working, and well, Quetta Gladiators seem dumbfounded. They don't have an answer to this onslaught.
I mean, that expression on Mohammad Nawaz's face said it all. Like, he has no idea. He's completely baffled by this. What is going on? Shaheen is playing a really kind of, I don't know, he's playing chess while everybody else is playing checkers.
That's a proper shot, man.
Yeah, absolutely. But this is what you don't expect. You don't know what to expect. Like, nobody saw this coming. This wasn't talked about. This wasn't previewed. It wasn't on any social media channels. No interviews gave us a hint this was going to happen. This is extraordinary cricket.
Right, Nawaz this time goes in the back of the length, this time to Shaheen, who rocks back and punches it like a rubber bat through the offside for a single, as we're now 45 for 4, in fact, after 7.5. Final ball of the Nawaz over, and we'll move back to Atif's Japan story in a second. Shafiq is 15 off 3, but his captain is 15 off 12. He's been rather impressive. Nawaz just conceded the one boundary in this over as he continues left arm round. Oh, bowled him! That's the end of Shafiq. What a wicket that is for Quetta Gladiators. And you thought that Shaheen Afridi would have been the liability, but now Lahore, well, they're halfway through the lineup here. Quetta Gladiators 45 for 5 after 8 overs. As this is not the shot that Shafiq wanted. Swept all around this delivery as it hit his glove and ricocheted onto the leg stump.
Yeah, that was a very poor shot from Shafiq. He never really got in line with it. Mohammad Nawaz sort of saw him move across and pushed it to a leg stumpy line. But it would have probably gone down the leg side had he not got a bit of glove on it. Didn't get in line. Didn't really look convincing this time around, Abdullah Shafiq. We keep wondering about this pitch now, just because the short pitch has been very successful for the seam bowlers. But just keeping it a little bit full, is creating a little bit of indecision. Maybe it's the scenario a little bit as well. But Abdullah Shafiq going only a little over a runner ball in his 14 deliveries. He looks very disappointed, and so he should be, because he's a lot better than the shot he just played to get out.
Yeah, look, I think Lahore fans...
I only learned the Japanese for, "Excuse me, could you take a picture of me, please?" And that was enough for me to get by. It was great, man. If you like manga, you like wrestling, you like sushi, you
wrestling.
like
they have
amazing,
wrestling in
really
Japan.
clean areas. Oh yeah, of course. Japanese wrestling is huge, man. It's a huge thing. Pureruso is very, very huge, and I really enjoyed it. Hafiz into the attack. Whoa!
Swing and a miss. Wild swing and a miss by Shaheen Afridi, who's looking at the mid-wicket boundary early into this, Hafiz's run-up, in fact, but just missed it completely. So the experiments from the bowling continue, as Safraz is already in the ear of Muhammad Hafiz. 45 for 5 here. The Quetta Gladiators dominating the Qalandars quite comfortably. This time on the back foot, Shaheen punches it to mid-off for just the 1. This is, I still can't believe my eyes, Atif. This guy's out there batting like a proper bat at the moment.
Yeah, and he played it quite well there, because it's keeping a little bit lower for Hafiz, which is another bowling change from Quetta, by the way. They're both just sort of trying to out-surprise each other at this point. But yeah, he just moved back nicely, rocked back and pushed it down the ground. Easy single to long on. Yeah, I like this bit of play from Shaheen, just holding things together a little bit. He's got Raza out there alongside him now. He's a more recognised batter. Still got David Weeser to come as well, and Rashid Khan. So just wants to build a little bit of a platform to let them come out and hit some shots, I imagine.
Hafiz this time to Raza, who's been a really good addition to this Lahore Qalandars side with the ball and the bat. Some contributions in both departments, and as I'm keeping an eye on their social media, he seems to be a really good contribution in their off-field dynamics as well. who I think it's a really big part of the Lahore brand. The way they get along off the field, and well, they keep pushing this whole family narrative. Them and of course Islamabad United are similar in that case. Another wild hoik across the line from Shaheen Afridi, misses it completely as Sarfraz collects another dot delivery. So again, now the experiment's worked in terms of putting the runs on. The run rate really still isn't going anywhere for the Qalandars, but I think at this point, Atif, they'll be happy even if they end up at 130. Oh, the reverse sweep! Top edge, and it goes to short third man, and the run-out chance. I think he might be gone.
Oh, it looks very, very close. That'd be a weird way for an innings to end. Although he shook his head immediately, Shaheen, in the affirmative. So I think he shook his head as if to say, no, I wasn't out. So Fraz doesn't look particularly convinced. So we'll find out momentarily. It wasn't a direct hit, of course, which just buys him a split second longer. He's a very tall man, Shaheen. So a little dive might just pay off. Very interesting choice of shot. But yeah, I mean, right now, if Shaheen doesn't survive this, then the 130 would be a huge recovery at this point for Lahore. But at the moment, if he does survive,
out. That is out. That is a huge wicket. The experiment, the Shaheen Afridi experiment, has come to an end. And not the way Lahore would have wanted to be honest. He was doing okay with a bat, 16 off 16. He was doing far better than some of the other batters.
I mean, he has the highest score in the lineup. So
there you go. And he's going to have to go back. He's been sent back. Good keeping from Sarfraz and a brilliant throw at the man at, short third man based on that shot. Afridi goes 16 off 16. He's hit a couple boundaries. Naveen ul Haq will get the run out. Lahore, however, my goodness, they could definitely be looking at the lowest score of this season, 47 for 6 now.
Yeah, I mean, there's still some batters to come, so they'll want to try and rescue it. But, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how they go. Will they just adopt to a play out the innings type situation? There's still runs to be taken here for them. They could still end up at 130, 140, maybe more. But it's just about how they play it and how they adapt to the surface, which isn't proving as wonderful as it did the last time around for them. I think Quetta bowled really well, and it's good to see Naveen getting back in the action as well, just because I know it'll annoy AZ. But I think Quetta have been very, very solid. They've kept the defenses up. They were slightly thrown for a moment by the whole Shaheen getting promoted thing, but now I feel like normal service will resume, as in at least normal batting and bowling orders.
Well, let's see. David Wisa, who's been the man for the tough jobs for Lahore for many a season now. He's kind of the guy they call to bail them out, essentially. Hey, what's that character in Pulp Fiction, Atif? The guy they call to fix things? The
Winston Wolf. The Wolf.
David Wisa is basically the wolf for the Lahore Qalandars, as he takes a single down to long on.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good. That is pretty good. Although nowadays the wolf features in these car insurance commercials in England, so it's kind of it's very upsetting. I don't know why they do this, and I don't know why they're allowed to do this. Like companies taking beloved characters from films and using that character, to sell car insurance or a mobile phone plan. Like, this is horrible. This is one of the worst elements of consumerism.
I have to say, the wolf is probably one of my favorite characters from that film.
Yeah, I'm going to send you a few YouTube links after today of these commercials, and they'll make you cry.
especially with the sequence of buying coffee and all of that. I won't get into the details of that, but that was a hell of a sequence. 48.
Oh, Pulp Fiction is an incredible film. Incredible film.
Oh, good delivery this time. Just straightening up from Nawaz to David Wisa. Just be a single down a long on. The first time you watched it, and I'm assuming, Atif, you've watched it more than once, did you really care for it? Did you really feel... Because a lot of people watch Pulp Fiction and they say, well, this was about nothing. And sometimes I understand that sentiment. 49 for 6 after 9.1.
Yeah, I watched it many, many, many times. If it gets screened every now and again at these sort of funky art housey cinemas and stuff in London, or just random screening venues, and I make a point of going because I've loved it. It was the first Quentin Tarantino film I saw. Oh yeah, and I kind of fell in love with it. I was 14 at the time, and I think it just got me at the right time.
Swept away to fine leg for a single again. The 50 comes up for Lahore. It's coming very late, and. It's also come with a loss of 6 wickets. They did not expect this, Lahore Qalandars, after they were put into bat, but it's been the dream start for the Quetta Gladiators. So you were hooked the first time you watched it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I just like that idea of it was my first exposure to non-linear storytelling.
Gone! I'm sorry, I'm going to have to cut you off, Atif, because Nawaz has picked up another wicket here for the Gladiators. That one just got stuck in a little bit, and the Wolf, David Wisa, defends back to the bowler. It's a simple cotton bowl chance, easily taken, and the Qalandars now 50 for 7. What's happening here?
This is a nightmare performance from the Lahore Qalandars, but Quetta completely flipped the script. There was like almost an insincere feeling of like a contest coming into this game based on what happened before. Lahore had won the last four out of the last 5. Quetta lost 4 out of the last 5, and yet they've come in here and completely dominated Lahore, who've had no answers. They've been done in various ways, by the short ball, by poor stroke play, by the ball just holding in the surface as it did there for Nawaz. Like Quetta have just put in a terrific performance with the with the ball and in the field. 2 run-outs as well in the 7 wickets that have fallen so far. Lahore really staring down the barrel of the lowest total of the season, which is what, 90? 90 is the lowest
90
total, right?
is the lowest total. I'm worried about their lowest ever total, which is 59.
Oh wow! Okay, so I mean that might be a stretch, but you never know. I mean, the way they're bowling. Also, it's worth pointing out Nawaz has been under a little bit of pressure recently. People making comparisons between him and Umaid Asif. You know, Umaid has put in some fantastic performance, mostly with the bat, mostly in losing causes. But Nawaz just reminding everybody of his class and his value as well to the Pakistan team, just with that little excellent, sort of performance of just closing out an innings. Can he continue to do that? If he can nip out Rashid here as well, Rashid Khan, and or Sikandar Raza, still probably the last 2 recognized batters in this lineup, then he kind of makes his case again. He's just a bit of a reminder to the world, by the way, I'm still here, guys, and I've still got a value. That's from Mohammad Nawaz.
I don't think he's going to be going anywhere, especially under Babar's captaincy. A famous clip of "Tu mera match vinner." Don't forget that. 50 for 7 after 9.4. Yeah, the lowest score ever at the PSL was by Lahore Qalandars 59. And I think that was against Peshawar Zalmi. Ahsan is saying, let's go to the comments here on the chat here. Atif in a second is defended back to the bowler for no run. Ahsan is saying, ye to purane wale Qalandars lag rahe hain. Fasih is saying, we just need 10 more runs. We should be fine. Mayor is saying, yesterday, 2017, Amr showed up. Today, 2017, Lahore Qalandars have shown up. Wow. Okay. And Gail's asking the open-ended question, what's your favorite Tarantino movies? Dot delivered in the over, and that's just too often in a wicket. Quetta, once again, completely in control, 50 for 7. So, Atif, your answer is Pulp Fiction, right? Favorite Tarantino movie?
No. So I acknowledge that Pulp Fiction is Tarantino's best movie, but my favorite is Jackie Brown.
Wow, now that is a acquired taste.
Man, it's one of the cool, like Samuel Jackson is like one of the coolest men that's ever existed, and like that film was like a love letter to him. And I just really like. There's so much about that film I love. My friends love Jackie Brown. Like we talk about it, we quote it all the time. We adore Jackie Brown. Like of course I adore Pulp Fiction, I love Reservoir Dogs, Django, Inglourious, all of them. Right, I like them all except for Death Proof, but. Yeah, I like that one. The Jackie Brown is my favorite. Like that's my favorite.
I'm just saying that not many people even watch that film, let alone have it as their favorite. So,
dude, it's brilliant. You got Robert De Niro putting in an Oscar-nominated performance, and it's awesome.
Flicked away to mid-wicket for a single as Naseem is replacing Mohammad Hafiz. I have to tip my hat to the captaincy. I've been very critical of Sarfraz Ahmed throughout this season. He's got everything spot on tonight. He knows there's only 3 batters left. They're into the tail. He brings on his talisman. He brings on his number 1 fast bowler. This is what it's all about. Close out the innings. Don't let it drag, or else you'll end up with that with what happened with the Peshawar Zalmi the other night. I genuinely believe, Atif, that if Umaid Asif had given another over to Muhammad Amir inside that power play last night, that whole result would have been different in that game.
Really? Just a third over for Amir solves everything.
I'm being very presumptuous, but I think if he gets another wicket there, it has a big effect on the way things go. It's a single this time to deep point. That'll bring in Sikandar Raza 52 for 7. Why do people pull people out? Why do people pull their fast bowlers out after 2 overs when they're doing as well as Amr was doing last night? For the life of me, I don't understand. What are you saving it for? In the death, that team is already going at 170, 160. That wicket.
So, like the thinking is, this is like a coaching thing, right? All coaches like push this in T20 cricket.
Yeah.
You don't want to give your fast bowlers more than 2 overs because after 2 overs, especially on a good batting surface, they start to get lined up, and you see it happen quite often. We've seen it happen in T20 leagues around the world. As next ball takes a thick outside edge, goes to deep third, they take a single, I think. Just a single. Sorry. So you see people wanting to just kind of, just make sure you keep changing things up. There's a high value given to the idea of just variation, changing things constantly, making sure you're keeping the batters on their toes. You don't let them get used to anybody. You don't let them line them up, because it only takes a few balls and then you can hit them through the line, especially on a surface like yesterday. So I think that's what the thinking was. But of course, in hindsight, we can say anything, innit?
Exactly. But to be fair, like the thinking you've described is, it's very logical, as this is a short delivery over the head of Rashid Khan for no run. So I don't disagree with the logic. I just think that there should be exceptions to the rule. And the way Amr was going last night, I think that exception should have jumped on and should have kicked in, because it was almost like a divine spell from him. Right.
Yeah, absolutely. It was brilliant.
Right, let me ask the chat as well. Your favorite Tarantino film? We'll take Gail's comment and run it across everyone. I think for me it'll have to be Django Unchained. I just really, really like that movie. 53 for 7, swing and a miss from Rashid Khan. Naseem Shah is up in arms about an appeal here. He's not really getting a lot of support from his captain, though, and his wicketkeeper for that matter, but Sarfraz obliges. Well, why the hell not? 53 for 7, might as well. Hassan Raza will go upstairs, and the review rickshaw is out. Django Unchained followed closely, very closely, by Inglorious Bastards. What is the chat saying? Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Mohammed Ahmed Hassan. I liked the way the film was done. I'm not sure if I liked the entire story, but I get you. I feel you. I just like the way he picks his people. He's got DiCaprio, Samuel L. Jackson. I mean, 9 out of 10 times you've got those kind of guys on a film. Christopher Waltz as well. If you have them on a film, it's gonna go well. By the way, Atif, Christopher Waltz has a new Netflix show called The Consultant, which I plan to watch this weekend.
Oh wait, you mean Christoph Waltz?
Yeah, sorry, Christoph Waltz.
Sorry. Sorry. I was thinking. I thought you meant Christopher Walken for a second. So I was like, does he mean Christopher Walken or does he mean Christoph Waltz?
Christoph Waltz.
Oh yeah, because they've both been in Tarantino films. So yeah, I mean, Christoph Waltz is incredible. That first scene in Inglorious, man, that is like they show it in film classes at universities. It's that good, that scene, in terms of building tension and drama and just showing off the performance and the capability of an actor. I'd never heard of Christoph Waltz until I saw that scene, and after that, I made it a point to watch everything he's ever done.
I get you. And he was just as good as in Inglorious, in Django Unchained, by the way. Amazing.
He was very good in that. Back-to-back Oscars.
Yeah, that review went in vain, by the way. No outside edge for Rashid Khan. There's a slip in place for him now, though, as his run down to third man for a single. Back-to-back Oscars. Take me through that. Which two?
So he won an Oscar for his performance in two sort of back to. It was the first instance of a director or an actor winning an Oscar twice with the same director, in a film by the same director. So he got an Oscar for Inglourious Bastards, and then he got an Oscar for Django Unchained as well. So that was right. His whole career is like Quentin Tarantino. He made him properly. He made him into this big time A-list actor. Although I got to tell you, The Consultant has got really average reviews here.
Yeah. No. Even my colleagues here were telling me it's pretty average, but I'm still gonna watch it because of him. Question for you, Atif, coming through the chat. 1 second. Hope I haven't lost you guys. Yeah, I think I have. Give me a second, guys. We'll bring the boys back on. 54 for 7 after 11. There's a slip in place as Rashid Khan sweeps along the carpet to find leg for a single. No chances of any boundaries so far. To be fair, it's just been one-way traffic. .1 overs gone. No way out here. Absolutely no way out for the Quetta Gladiators. For the Lahore Qalandars, pardon me. 11.1 overs gone. Comes down the track, inside edge, onto the pads, to the offside for no run. Run rate of less than 5 at this point. They need answers to the Lahore Qalandars, and I think they're only going to get to 120 max, even if they string together a massive partnership. Nawaz continues here. Oh, big shot from Sikandar Raza. He's got a hold of this. Over mid-wicket for 6. Huge hit. Can't do much about that. Pardon me, guys. Let me see if I can get the guys back on. .61 for 7 after 11.3. As this time he smashes down the ground. They've crossed his 59 mark, the Lahore Qalandars. Big achievement. They will not have the lowest score of the PSL ever. .62 for 7. Nawaz this time continues, driven through the offside. Should just be the one. It is. Yeah, Lahore still looking for answers, though. It's been a very, very torrid innings for them. And I think not even their talent from High Performance Center could save them tonight. Quetta have to make sure they don't let this slip, as this is crashed by Sikandar Raza through the offside for just a 1. And at the end of 12 overs, the Lahore Qalandars are 64 for 7. Just waiting on Surfraz to lend a hand here, as he has once again come through. Right, 8 overs to go. If Lahore get 50 more, I think that's a pretty good score considering where they were at. But at the same time, I don't think that's going to happen. I think Umaid Asif is back into the attack to pick up some wickets.
Hello.
He should be able to do so really, really quickly. Right, gentlemen, sorry about that. I think we're back live and good to go. 64 for 7. Raza at 12 off 8. Rashid 4 off 9. The Qalandars were just looking to bat out to 20 at this point. And Raza flicks this over the keeper's head. It's aerial, and it'll go all the way for 6 over fine leg. Hey, it's a hell of a shot. Where does that come from? The confidence and the talent to execute that as well as he does, Sikandar Raza. He's part of that all-time. He was part of that T20 World Cup 11 in the last tournament, and you can see exactly why. 76 meters at 6. .70 for 7 after 12.1. Atif and Suhail, you guys have been. Are you guys able to hear me?
Yeah. I think, us going down temporarily wasn't a bad thing for Lahore. They've managed to sort of put together a sort of partnership for the first time.
Yeah,
not bad.
Down a third man for a single this time.
Yeah, looking to just be a little bit tidy and play some shots at the same time. It was a nice little break shot there from Sikandar Raza. He's a very, very talented batter, as is Rashid Khan. I mean, they'd still be looking to salvage themselves a total in excess of 130 here. They won't have to take too many risks to do that. But Quetta have bowled and fielded really well, so the pressure's very, very much on. It's hard to see Lahore coming back and winning this game, but if they do, it's going to be a cracker.
71 for 7 after 12.2. Oh, this is aerial. The helicopter takes flight, and Point will drop the catch, and it'll go for 6. Will Speed falls over the rover. The ball boy checks on him, but I don't think it's because of the rover that's gone over. I think just a tough chance. I won't even call that a mistake, to be honest.
Yeah, that was a very difficult chance. It's a very narrow gap there. There are small boundaries. at this ground, and he's picked that out quite nicely. That Rashid Khan, he's done quite well. He's not a little bit of economy of hitting there, making sure he didn't hit the ball any harder than he had to. Smeed's not a small guy either. Like, he looks small, but he's not. He's actually close to 6 feet tall, and he couldn't quite get underneath it and round at the same time.
This one slapped over cover and has gone quickly to the boundary for another 4. Umaid Asif has been given the treatment here. 2 6s and a 4. 17 off the over. Suddenly Lahore look like they can even push to 130 here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I said, 130, 140 is very gettable without having to take too many chances. But the way that Rashid plays, he does take chances. He'll always give the fielding team opportunities, but he'll just want to get competitive here. They know they've got one of the best bowling lineups in the tournament. They just have to have something to bowl at. 70, 80 is nothing to bowl at. 120, 130, 140, you give yourself an outside chance.
Honestly, yeah, 120 for sure. They'll have something to bowl at, considering they were 7 down for around 50. That's a hell of a partnership then. But they're a long way from that as Umaid Asif steams in again. Good length. It's worked away down to third man. Sensible from Rashid Khan. He's been around the block, hasn't he? 82 for 7.
Yeah, he's played everywhere. And he's still he's a lovely guy, I can tell you. I've had some wonderful interactions with him, and he's always been so humble and relaxed and just very, very friendly. He's one of those guys who genuinely enjoys, the position that he's in. He's very, very kind of jovial, happy character, a fun guy if ever there was one. And it's great to see him doing well. Although, the age thing did become a bit of a running joke after a while. I don't know if you heard that particular interview.
I have. This is a driven through point for single. It can be a little harsh on him, to be honest, although I get it.
Yeah, I mean, like, birth certificates are more just a guidance thing in our part of the world. Whereas, like, they get very upset about it here in England.
You're putting it very kindly, aren't you?
yeah. It was just a fun thing. But like, he joked about it as well. He's got a very good sense of humor. He once gave me a shave. That was fun.
What?
He once gave me a shave. So he, I remember I was interviewing him. It was on Zoom during the pandemic, and I commented on how nice his beard looked and how even it looked, and I asked him where he got it done, and he said, "Oh, I just do it myself." I'm like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah, I'll do yours if you want." I'm like, "You know what? One day, Rashid, I'm going to hold you to that." And then, cut to a year later, we got a chance to meet when he was over in England. And he did it. I think they filmed it for the social media of, I want to say the PCA, but it was for somebody.
Yeah.
But they filmed it. And they never put it out, though. I've got to call that guy. I really want to get a hold of that footage. It's quite something to have, like, one of the world's best leg spinners giving you a shave.
That would be that's something you should tell your kids, honestly. 83 for 7. That's a wild story.
I got a few stories for him.
Oh, that's a good shot. Sikandar Raza expertly guides this pass short third man for 4. Naveen al-Haq again concedes a boundary, and suddenly the momentum of this game shifting in the favor of the Qalandars.
Oh, I don't know about shifting in the favor of the Qalandars, but it's moving towards a more competitive scenario here. Like, they're just giving their fans something to cheer, giving themselves a few runs. I mean, this pitch, like, you feel like they would have learned from the last few games. Like, we've talked about the power plays not having as much significance as previously. You can accumulate later. Just got to invest the time. Lahore will just look back at some of the stroke play, some of their reading of the surface, and just lament the choices that they made and to put themselves in this position. But they're still not out of the game. They're still very much in the game.
I still think, after what I saw with the Zulmi last night, and anything can happen. 87 for 7.
Without a doubt.
Naveen al-Haq this time steaming into Sikandar Raza. Remember, the run rate's already nearing 7 here, so maybe even 140 on the cards. And that's why the Qalandars, Atif, we were talking about at the start of the game, that's why they're on top of the table, and they're probably favorites too, because they bat deep as well. At the start of the season, yeah, sure, their batting was a bit thin, but now with Billings in and Rashid Khan at 8, 9, that's really good for any T20 side in the world.
Absolutely. They've got that very, very long batting lineup. They put together a really, really good team. Like, they haven't performed to their potential today. That's another thing. But on paper, they've put together a very, very strong team. Batting and bowling, well balanced. They're starting to gel. They're starting to find some rhythm. Today, it was more, sort of an error-strewn day for them. But generally speaking, I think they've started to find their rhythm as a team.
Good delivery, getting shapen in the right-hander, but it's well flicked away to short fine leg by Rashid Khan, who missed out on that. I think he would have wanted to go either way of that fielder for 4. 88 for 7 after 13.2. Cheeky smiles on both the Lahore batters' faces. Sikandar Raza is 25 off 13. Rashid 16 off the same amount of deliveries.
Rashid takes his batting very seriously as well. Like, he doesn't like being labelled a bowler. He doesn't like being labelled a leg spinner. He considers himself a genuine all-rounder. Like he sees himself as Shahid Afridi, right? Like, his hero was Shahid Afridi growing up. He wanted to bowl like him. He wanted to bat like him. He loved Shahid Afridi. And then there's a little bit of Anil Kumble in there as well. But mostly it's Shahid Afridi who's his hero.
Yep.
So he sees himself in that vein as this exciting batter who also bowls really well. It's just his bowling took off more than his batting did in the early days, and he got labelled. But he wants to be an all-rounder.
I think, he's proving that today as this has worked off the pads of Sikandar Raza to the leg side. I think they're going to push for 2 here. Great running. Ran the first one hard, so they could come back for the second quite comfortably. 91 for 7. It's been a brilliant partnership. 41 off 25. Lahore feel resurgent. You brought this up, Atif. You brought this upon yourself. You set yourself up for this question. Is Rashid Khan better than Shahid Afridi?
Well, I think it's an impossible comparison to make. I mean, you can talk about the technical element of things. I mean, it's cross-generational comparisons are always very difficult.
Yeah.
So, and I know they've sort of overlapped a little bit, but Rashid Khan's played in a completely different era.
Slashes hard, Sikandar Raza, and he finds the fence this time through cover. It wasn't the best-looking shot, but he knew there was nobody out there protecting that boundary. And it's another 4, and another great over for the Qalandars. Couple of boundaries off it already. 11 completely off the first 5 deliveries with 1 to go. Sarfraz Ahmed's, a customary disappointed face is back.
It was one of the ugliest shots I've seen in a long time, to be honest with you, from Sikandar Raza, but he won't mind. He gets the result. He's going at 200 at the moment, his strike rate, which is brilliant for Lahore. He's getting them runs. He's keeping them alive. And he's doing it in very good time.
Final ball of the 14th over now coming up. Raza 31 off 15. In the air this time. Crashes it through the offside for another 4. I'll tell you what, Atif, you might like this one a little bit better. That's a classical shot. The bottom hand is employed. And now Lahore 99 for 7 in just 14.
Yeah, it was a beautiful shot. That he just adjusted, just opened the face of the bat a little bit. He knew exactly where the gap in the covers was. Didn't want to play too straight and go towards mid-off, long off, in fact. And he knew that the gap in the covers was he knew the exact angle he needed. And he opened the face so nicely, trusting the surface to allow the ball to come onto his bat. That was gorgeous. Yeah, that was my shot of the day by far, including that Shaheen tribute to Rovman Powell earlier in the innings. 99 for 7 after 14. Okay,
I think
we might have a game on, lads.
We do, and we're going to take a quick break, 2 minutes, just to recollect, grab a sip of water, and a strategic timeout is out there. So we'll be back right after it's done for more of the same, and we might just have a game on if Lahore make it to 120 odd. Right, then welcome back. Listen to Iftakhar Ahmed during the break saying that the momentum is definitely siding with the Quetta Gladiators. Well, he's not wrong about that. 99 for 7. You would back the bowling side, but let me tell you what, that the Qalandars were at one point 50 for 7. So it's been a bit of a comeback for them as Naseem Shah continues here, beautifully driven by Rashid Khan down to third man. A fumble there, but it'll still just be the single. The 100 has come up for Lahore Qalandars, and who would have thought that would have happened tonight?
I mean, who would have thought that the 100 not happening would be a very serious possibility?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this partnership has been outstanding. A 50 partnership between these two in just 28 balls as well. Like, that's been brilliant to watch, certainly from a Lahore perspective, but also from a game perspective. It makes things more interesting. It's nice to see the pair of them sharing a little hug out there. And a very, very well-timed sponsors message from the Be Love Network. What is the Be Love Network? Is that a mobile network or a dating app?
Be Love Network? I don't even think it's a Pakistani thing. I've never heard of it.
It's one of the sponsors.
Yeah, full and straight outside off stump for just a single. Be Love Network. Let's see what that's about, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It sounds like a dating app, but I don't know. I thought those were frowned upon in Pakistan. In any case, it's been a very, very decent partnership.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it is. It's like a love network app. I'm not sure what's going on. I think it's got to do with some of that crypto stuff that I've never really understood. Yeah, Dijinx telling us about it. By the way, Atif, a lot of questions coming in for you.
Oh dear.
We'll just talk about this mouse going down the lakeside. That'll be wide. First one, I think Gail was asking, did you go to the anniversary screening of Jackie Brown, the 25th anniversary in London last year?
No, I missed that. I wish somebody would tell me when these things happen. I last watched it when I forced some of my friends and I took a drive out to Seven Sisters Cliff. Not the most recent time, I went a couple of days ago actually, but a few months ago, last year I went, and we were staying in a cottage near there, and I forced everybody to watch it on a projector.
Nice. Good drive this time from Rashid to the offside. A wide in between that from Naseem Shah, so it's another good start of the over for Lahore Qalandars. 4 off the first 3 deliveries. Look, 103 for 7. Lahore still hunting. Mohammed Abu Hassan's asking you, Atif, are you excited for Michael Keaton's return as Batman?
Oh my God, I'm so excited, man. Like, I know there's a lot of problematic stuff happening with Ezra Miller, but I was so gutted when I found out they weren't going to release it, and now they're releasing it again. So I'm really excited to see Michael Keaton as Batman. He was like my childhood Batman. So
pulled away this time. I think he's found square leg. Yep, that's going to be 4 more. That's a brilliant shot, really. Naseem Shah not doing much wrong. A short delivery, exactly what they wanted for Quetta Gladiators, but it's just timed and placed to perfection by Sikandar Raza, who's now 40 off 18. What an innings this is.
Yeah, absolutely. And, it's the difference between being a set batter and encountering short pitch bowling and an under pressure batter who's faced a few dot balls trying to put the short one away, as we saw earlier from some of the Lahore batters. That was a brilliant controlled stroke as well. Didn't play it up in the air, made sure he guided it down by just angling his bat face down and placed it perfectly, as you said. Beautiful shot. Terrific knock this from Sikandar. Oh, there we go. Angry face Faraz is back.
Yep, 107 for 7, 114.4. And to be fair, I don't really blame him on this one. This is a tail that is more than just wagging now. 10 4s and 4 6s. Most of them have come, from the bat of Sikandar Raza and Rashid Khan. Jahan Zaib is asking me, Musad, do you agree with Atif on the Mancad issue? Now, isn't that a can of worms?
Yeah, this is the one that got me in a bit of trouble on Twitter, or it got me a lot of engagement on Twitter. Depends on the way you look at it.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, bright side of life. Full fast delivery outside off stump, dab down to point, and it'll just be a couple runs. Sarfraz is just not happy with anything right now. Generally in life, he's not happy. He's just complaining.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like he's quite. Again, he's one of those people who's a very jovial character off the surface. Yeah. I like the way he just went over to Naseem, put his hand on his shoulder, gave him a nice chat. Like, he's had a reputation for being a little bit aggressive with his players or a bit disrespectful with his players or whatever. Yeah. But he was, he's trying to maintain his composure. It's not something that's a natural thing for him on a cricket pitch. He's a very fiery character on a pitch. So, it's nice to see him just take that bit of personal development on board.
109 for 7. Yeah, I think he's doing a lot better this season, although the results not going his way yet. Smacked by Sikandar Raza. It's a slow delivery that he's picked, and he finds the fence again for 4. Right over the side screen for another boundary. 15 overs gone. Lahore 113 for 7. This is one of the great PSL partnerships you'll see, really. The number 8 and number 9 coming together and putting on a show here for the Qalandars, and the home crowd absolutely loves it. More questions in for Atif. Zainab's asking, Atif, have you ever worked with... You've worked with Owen Morgan. He retired recently. How was he when you met him?
Owen Morgan is one of the nicest men in cricket. Like, I know there's a bit of a recurring theme with me, but people are generally very nice to me. He was great. He's really dignified and statesmanlike and very genuine and sincere. And, you know, what he's done for sort of diversity in English cricket is, you know, something that we all, certainly people like me, owe him a great debt for. And he gave this beautiful speech as well at this Ramzan event at the Lords last year as well. Like, I've always enjoyed chatting with him. We chat about other things as well. We've got a few other things in common that we enjoy. And obviously he plays for my county, Middlesex. So Owen is a legend. Love him. Great guy. And yeah, I can't say enough nice things about him.
113 for 7. That, by the way, Atif, I have to say, I know that it was an amazing moment for you, but even for me as a Muslim cricket fan, I'm glad you were there for it. It was just an amazing moment to see iftar happen at Lord's. Slow delivery worked away off the pads. And it's going to go to square a mid wicket for a couple runs. Brilliant running between these two. They're really turning up the heat on Quetta now. I think the momentum is now actually more towards Lahore than it was with Quetta. 115 for 7 with just 5 overs to go. That just talk about that experience, Atif. Iftar at Lords. I'm glad it was one of our own that was representing.
Yeah, man. It was a phenomenal experience, and it kind of opened the door for, you know, various things. It was led by Muslim employees of the ECB. You know, Tamina was saying she's the one who was kind of principally in charge of organizing it. And, you know, she very kindly invited me to host the event. It was great fun. Loads of cricketers attended. Loads of female and male players attended. There was a imam who gave a little talk. And then it was followed up a few months later by the first sort of Diwali at the Long Room. And, like, it's a really nice thing that they're sort of working to include people. Like, you know, post Azim Rafiq revelations, there's a big movement towards doing that. And I'll break off with this ball.
Rashid tries to take off this time and completely misses a dot delivery. 15.2 on 115 for 7.
Yeah, so there was this big move towards, like, we need...
I think we've just lost Atif there. Let me see if we can bring
courage, not inclusive. Oh, sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Now it's all good.
Oh, sorry about that. Don't know what happened, but yeah, it was a wonderful event, and you know, the Diwali one I hear was nice too. I would have attended myself, but I was in Japan.
Smack through the offside. That'll be a single to cover. And of course, folks, don't forget 8, 10, and 11th of March. We're going to have some exhibition matches. The Amazons versus Super Women at the Pindi Cricket Stadium. Some of the best women cricketers around the world going to be flying in for these exhibition games. I think we're almost turning the page into a new era for that side of our game with this and the women's IPL around the corner. Sikandar Raza, of course, 46 off 20. He's also turned a page in his cricketing career over the past year and a half for Zimbabwe, now doing the same for the Qalandars, as Odean Smith is completely rattled, bowls a wide one. And, longer, we can't even remember when Lahore were 50 for 7. It's been a massive turnaround, this. And I think this is already a competitive score in the back of Shaheen's mind, considering where they left off.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, they've made a huge improvement on their position in this game just on the basis of this partnership. I think Quetta had to expect at some stage there would be a partnership. They weren't just going to roll over Lahore quite.
This is smack. Could be taken. Oh, it's dropped. A brilliant attempt. I think it's Martin Guptill there at third man who puts the dive in and spills it. Oh, honestly, you could say that at this level those should be taken, but it's a tough chance.
Yeah, I think that's hard. I think that's a very difficult one. Guptill did well to sort of get fingers to it. It would have been big for Quetta at this stage of the innings just to get that dismissal, but as it happens, Lahore survived. The partnership continues.
Yep, another swing and a miss.
Yeah, well, I don't know. We'll look at it again on the replay. Should have had it.
Yeah, I think so too. Atif.
Should have had it. I take my back. He should have had it.
Odean Smith now, he's correcting. He's hitting that hard length and making the batsman work for his runs. It's working so far. Another dot delivery followed up by that drop chance by Martin Guptill, who did the hard work. He really got into position. reached the delivery and then spilled it. And of course, the Lahore faithful absolutely enjoying that drop catch. Final ball of the 16th over, and again overcorrecting. Smith goes far too wide as Rashid Khan was getting into position for a helicopter. He tried to stop that from happening, but he's going to have to do that all over again, and it's another very expensive over for the Quetta Gladiators.
Yeah, it's those extras. They're sort of mounting a little bit. The horse toll, we talked about 120, 130, 130 plus we said would be great. Now there's an outside chance of 150.
Yeah, look, I think that's certainly on. These two don't look like they're going anywhere. 21 off 19 for Rashid. He's just hanging out there right now. He can still get going. He goes big. There you go. Skies this one. He's got a lot of height on it, and it's taken in the deep. Finally a wicket for the Gladiators. Iftikhar Ahmed comes around and takes an easy catch. Odeed Smith with a change of pace. It works for him, and it works for Quetta. And once again, they have a chance to bowl Lahore Qalandars out for a score that should be fairly straightforward to chase. But also, don't forget, Atif, we talk about this a lot here over on Change of Pace, that the Qalandars might have the best ever bowling attack in franchise cricket.
Absolutely. I mean, I can't think of a bowling attack. I've watched a lot of franchise and T20 tournaments around the world. I can't think of any attack that's been as good as this. You take Shaheen and Haris. You got an emerging player like Zaman, who's outstanding. You got Rashid Khan in the mix as well. You got David Wiese to lean on. You got Sikandar Raza to lean on. You've got so many options. It's very, very hard to look past that bowling attack.
Or 19 for 8. What about this little activation by the Gaddafi Stadium where they get people to sing their Pakistan cricket songs? Would you be down for that, Atif?
I only know a few, but that's not true. I know all of them. Yeah, I'd be down for that. I'm always up for a bit of fun and games. I'm not I don't get I get a little self-conscious, but I overcome it very quickly.
Are you a karaoke guy though?
Only with my closest friends who can forgive me the lack of vocal talent that I have. Are you? What's your karaoke song, Musad? What's your karaoke song?
Look, I like the classics. I like my John Denver's, the Country Roads. I like most of the stuff by the Beatles. I also like a little bit of R&B, some of the Chris Brown stuff I like. And then of course, if you're in the mood, a little bit of hip hop and rap is down. I'm down for that as well. Karaoke is just a good night out. I just have a great time with the mic in hand.
Interesting. I think we'd have different karaoke. So for me, karaoke is about guilty pleasures and just songs that you would sing in the car, like Kelly Clarkson, or Dua Lipa, or Celine Dion, Britney Spears. That's my karaoke.
This is card over short, third man for 4. That'll bring up Sikandar Raza's 51 off 22. I tell you what. It's Lahore's guilty pleasure right now to watch this man bat. He's done an extremely good job tonight. 1, 2, 3 for 8. He's put the Qalandars in a position to compete in this game. In fact, they might even go on to win it with their bowling attack. Take a bow, Sikandar Raza. He had a shirt on the other night that said, Qalandars ka Sikandar, and I think he's proven that tonight.
Absolutely. He's just been phenomenal. Just been so fun to watch, and it couldn't happen for a nicer guy. Again, you talked about it earlier. He's been a great addition to that team environment as well. He's so well versed in Pakistani culture, obviously coming from Pakistan, but just having this really wonderful demeanor that everybody around him enjoys.
Yorker this time outside a leg stump, makes room and drives it hard. Sikandar Raza, but straight to the man at cover for no run. Look at that strike rate, 232, 51 off just 22, 2 6s and 6 4s. It's been a whirlwind of an innings. Look, I'm down for a little bit of Kelly Clarkson.
What's the song, though? What's the song?
I never forget the name. I always forget the name of her songs.
Oh my God, you're that guy.
I'm that guy, but when it comes on, I'll know. When it comes on, I'll know. Single this time behind square.
Oh!
That's a tough one.
Ouch!
Yeah, that's gonna be tough. It's gonna be sore in the boundary, and that's a definite no ball. I think it's the dude that's made that slip.
Yeah, I think he's hit him on his hand or glove or something. He just winced a little bit when the ball made contact. He's not rubbed it, and he's not done anything since.
That's a proper beamer, isn't it?
He never shows it. Yeah, it's a proper beamer. It's one that just comes out. It's one you got to apologize for if you're.
I do like a good beamer, though, Atif. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Oof. I mean, I've taken a few beamers. Like, if you play sort of league cricket like I do here in England, you face a variety of talented bowlers, and if they let one go at pace, you stop enjoying beamers very quickly.
Right. Horace goes for the wild swing against the free hit. It's a dot delivery. Lahore 125 for 8. They could easily make it a 150. I think I'm going to go down for my favorite Kelly Clarkson song as Breakaway, Atif.
Breakaway is very good. I think, in terms of karaoke, you can't beat Since You've Been Gone.
Since You've Been Gone,
Since You've Been Gone is great. A loud, shouty breakup song. I like a good breakup song is always good. Like Faith by George Michael is probably the best breakup song of all time. But I do, and that's great for karaoke too.
Yeah. All good delivery. Beautiful delivery by Naseem Shah. And he's gone. That's an outside edge from Haris Rauf. Easily collected by Sarfraz Ahmed, and 125 for 9 now. The Qalandars. Frankly, in the larger scheme of things, Atif, it's still not enough runs, is it?
No, you'd think not. You'd think this is not enough runs. It depends how many they can squeeze out here with the number 11 out there with the Sikandar Raza. But yeah, obviously, start of the day, you're thinking like 170 plus is what you want. Maybe 180 is closer to what you want. This, you're thinking absolutely not, is nowhere near good enough. But, if you had to pick out any bowling attack to try and defend 125-ish or 130-ish, you'd pick Lahore. No doubt about it.
Yep.
And if you had to pick a team that you had to try and bowl out for that amount, you might pick Quetta as well.
Wow. You know what? You're not wrong. You're not wrong about that.
There's a way that's one way to think about the game. But yeah, it has. The partnership between Rashid and Sikandar aside, it has been a brilliant performance from Quetta. They've just been in control. They've very much tried to push home their advantage. They've juggled their bowlers. They haven't really lost their composure too much. One partnership at least is always expected from the opposition, so they won't feel too badly. If they go into that mindset of yaar inko 70 80 pe utarna chahiye tha, I think that would be a mistake. They shouldn't get into that mindset. But it depends really how many they can steal here, Lahore. If they can still squeeze up to 140, it might give that mindset a little bit more of a nudge.
Right, Naseem Shah this time. Oh, what a delivery, man. This guy is breathing fire right now. That's 140 plus. And Zaman has no chance to even get a bat on it. Dot delivery. Final ball of his spell. He's picked up just the 1 wicket, but he's bowled all right, to be honest, Naseem.
Yeah, he's been good actually, Naseem. It's been difficult sometimes when you're bowling well, not always taking wickets. You don't get the glory even though you're putting in a strong performance. I found that happens to him often in Pakistan as well. He does a lot of the damage or the build up to the wickets, and the other end, the kind of what we call the Curtly Ambrose effect, because you're bowling with Courtney Walsh, so you might get stuck. But he's been very, very good. He's got a long career ahead of him. Another really nice guy, really well mannered, well behaved kind of. He's got these good manners about him. I really like kids with good manners. I don't know if in yesterday's game you were paying attention when Shoaib Malik, smashed the ball up in the air and his bat went flying. Yeah. Hasibullah Khan went over, picked up the bat and handed to him really nicely, going, "Yele Shoaib bhai." Yeah. It was so sweet, and manners cost nothing, boys and girls. And for someone like me, they just win me over straight away. I'm always going to be on Team Hasib.
Absolutely, I think that's a good point, and especially in a competitive environment, if somebody steps out of that, the heat around that, and is just polite to you, I think it goes a long way. By the way, Quetta have reviewed this. They think that Zaman has an outside edge on it. We thought that he was beaten for, but it looks like on replay that there's plenty of gap between bat and ball. We'll go upstairs to see if there's a slight movement on Snicko. Zaman says he's not hit it, but as do most tail-ending batters.
I've got to tell you, man, sometimes you just don't realize you hit it.
Yeah,
I've had a few batters have said that to me before. All bowlers claim that the batters always know and his gamesmanship and blah, 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 blah. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure that sometimes as a batter, you just don't know, especially these little feather ones.
I'll tell you what.
There's ultra edge.
Nothing on that, though. Completely flat.
Yeah.
So Zaman
that should clear him.
Yeah, Zaman will be fine.
That should clear the good name of Zaman Khan.
Yes. Questions coming in for you again, Atif, saying, what is your favorite Dua Lipa song?
Levitating.
Levitating. Okay, that's a good pick.
Yeah, I like happy music. I like to just be happy and smiling and dancing and bouncy, and it doesn't have to always have deep-seated meanings. Okay. I like Nusrat sometimes. I like Dua Lipa sometimes. What's wrong with that?
125 for 9. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. I like a good diverse sense of music as this is clipped away through mid-wicket. Now, this is very interesting, Atif. No single taken from Zaman, which means that Sikandar Raza will face the entirety of the 18th over. That's smart.
It's smart, but I mean, they could have run 2 there, bro.
That's also true. That's
They
also
could have
true.
taken 2. I mean, turning down the single is one thing, but being able to run 2 and not running any is another thing. I know it's a short boundary towards that leg side, but even so, the fielder was giving chase for a good 5 seconds there. So, Cello, okay. I mean, we'll give Sikandar the benefit of the doubt, considering he's played a terrific knock. Now, for the value of what he needs here is to face maybe another 10 balls. There's 18 balls to come in this innings. If he can face 10 and get 20 off them, I think Lahore will be very happy. That gets them to 140 plus. That's what they'll really want. 140 plus. And if they get to 150, they'll be ecstatic. But 140 plus, they'll feel like they've got out of jail a little bit.
140 plus. I mean, 140, even 140 would be a massive get out of jail card, considering they were 50 for 7 at one point. Labs is saying the only right answer to the karaoke question is Material Girl by Madonna, as it's a dot delivery to start off with. Sikandar Raza goes for the pull shot, misses. Or Wannabe by Spice Girls. Wow, she's really turning back the clock. Gail is saying, I love Avril Lavigne on a good karaoke night. I think that's a good shout.
Those are 3 outstanding shouts there from both people. Love all 3 of those songs.
And I think Zainab's also made a really good point, Atif. Maybe we can connect you with Sabah, saying Atif would be a great guest on the High Pitch podcast. If you don't know, folks, and Atif, if you don't know, High Pitch is our latest show with Sabah Bano Malik, who's a radio jockey back in Pakistan, and she's doing a terrific job. I think the second episode will come out tonight or tomorrow, and that will be a good one too. 126 for 9. Just FYI, because we always like to give sneak peeks to the guys that actually listen into the commentary. The next episode of High Pitch will feature Zainab Abbas, as this has worked away through to mid-wicket for a single. So that'll be a fun little conversation between Sabah and Zainab. And Muhammad Ahmed Hassan saying Fever by Dua Lipa is also great. Can't really recall that one. But in honor of Atif's shout-outs today, we will have a 2000s specific playlist for the innings break. So I hope you all enjoy that.
I mean, I did say George Michael, but that's okay. Yeah, I did listen to that podcast, by the way. It was a really good listen between Ahmed and Sabah. Ahmed told me about it the last time I was on.
Yep.
And as promised, I went to the gym. I had a little listen to it in between, but a very different playlist in the gym, I got to tell you.
Of course.
Yeah, but it was really good. It was a really, really good listen. So if you haven't, I recommend it.
A wide and a single and a dot delivery. Zaman is back on strike, so not sure if that's what they were looking for, but well, it's happening.
Yeah, I mean, you can't, it's a tricky scenario, this, for Lahore. It's almost unprecedented for them to be in this scenario altogether in recent times, for sure. But they just want to find a way to get to that 145 plus mark. 140 plus, they'll be over the moon. They just got to, I think for Zaman, it's about surviving. For Sikandar, it's trying to make the most of when he's on strike. It's challenging because Odin's bowling really well.
Another dot delivery this time. Short ball from Odin Smith. That's the ploy. It's quite obvious. Zaman keeps reaching out for it, but it's not working.
Yeah, Zaman's caught in 2 minds there. He doesn't know if he's supposed to play an aggressive shot and try and put it away to the boundary, or if he's supposed to try and dab it away for a single somewhere and get Sikandar back on strike. And because of that, he plays some weird in-between shot that doesn't really have any conviction behind it. And he's quite lucky not to feather it through to the keeper, really. Odin is doing his job beautifully, keeping that solid
Again.
length.
That one might be given wide, Atif, though. That's too short.
Yeah. He's just trying to bully the tail ender a little bit. I don't mind a bit of short pitch bowling at a number 11, but obviously he's gone a little bit too far. It's not really a threat to Zaman, although it might be worth it, really. Sometimes you put that little, bury that seed of doubt in the batter's mind. Oof, that was a short ball. It's only a few inches from the top of my helmet. I need to be careful with the next one.
120 for 9. Odin this time goes slow and short. Brilliant bowling, I have to say. Brilliant bowling, keeping it very quiet. But Atif, shouldn't the ploy be to pick up a wicket?
Yeah, absolutely. But at the same time, in going for that wicket, you don't want to bowl low percentage deliveries. So the deliveries that are in the slot for this batter, if you try and bowl a fast Yorker to a number 11, I know a lot of old school commentators bang on about it. It's not your best percentage delivery. You might get tonked for a six back over your head.
That'll be wide down the leg side.
Yeah, he's length is not a bad option. Obviously, just has lost his line there a little bit. It's his last delivery of his spell, so obviously maybe feeling a little bit fatigued. Odin Smith's probably perspiring hard at the moment. But yeah, I think sticking to your plan and trying to maintain that economy is also, it has a great value and it's understated. Like just trying to hit the stumps every delivery isn't always the way.
Back-to-back wides. That's not going to help Quetta's cause. 130 now up. 130 up for the Qalandars. That's brilliant. And look at that. Sikandar Raza, very animated, giving a live batting lesson to Zaman Khan in the middle of the 22.
Yeah, he's just saying something to the effect of, like, I think he had a little joke and a laugh with him there, which Sikandar is very good at, just relaxing his opposite number, but don't get out, is what he said.
That's brilliant. That's the end of the over. Decent spell from Smith, to be fair, just 27 off his 4. And that will leave Sikandar Raza with another 6 deliveries to work with.
Yeah, in theory, if he can keep the strike, still 12 balls to go in this innings. Yeah, Zaman there very clear this time in what it was he needed to do, which was keep his bat inside the line of the ball. He knew it was likely to be length either down the leg side or outside off. It wasn't really going to be targeting the stumps. Just let it go by, let Odin have his moment. You know, despite those wides, I think I quite enjoyed that and quite respect that spell from Odin Smith. I think
not bad at all.
Maintaining your game plan. Yeah, we don't give enough praise to bowlers who stand by their game plan, don't get greedy, don't try and hit the stumps, because obviously there's glory to be had by hitting the stumps. True. But there's also, a momentum swing. There's also this opportunity for the other team. You can give the other team a little chance by missing your length ever so slightly, because you've only got sort of 4 to 5 inches on the surface to work with to hit that perfect length. And if you move around as a batter, in your crease, you're always giving yourself a chance to work the ball away into different gaps on it, especially in a small surface like the one in Gaddafi. So a lot of small pitch that they've made today for Gaddafi. I think it's very small. Gaddafi is a huge cricket ground.
It is.
They've deliberately made it really small
really
today.
Tiny, yeah. Right, final 2 overs here if they don't pick up a wicket. Sikandar Raza at 53 goes for a wild swing and a miss. Great start from Naveen Ul-Haq, who goes full and wide outside off stump. Sikandar so very much ready to go at it. And I mean, that's the right approach. Push Lahore to 140.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I feel like Sikandar's missed out there a little bit. Maybe he was expecting a short delivery, slightly slow to get in line with that one. It was there for the shot for sure. It's kind of tailing in a little bit, but it is sort of a half volley outside off stump. He should be crashing that through the covers for 4. He knew it as well instantly. But yeah, maybe he's just been second guessed there a little bit.
He skied this. Tries to power this over long off. He hasn't connected, but it falls safely inside the circle between mid-off and mid-on, who are convening.
And they get back for 2.
Yeah, a couple runs taken. And that second run was so important because that means Sikandar Raza is still on strike. And yeah, a bit of slightly clowny, as Abdul Makeed's saying.
Yeah, that was very most important thing there for Lahore was to get back for the 2. Not the best fielding in the world really there, but he just waited on it.
Oh, no, that should have been a run out, Atif.
Yeah, it should have been a run out. Not a good piece of fielding. It was a terrible throw. It was so wide. Yeah. And that's when Naveen was angry. He was very annoyed. He's bowled a good delivery as well there, Naveen. Corrected everything he got wrong with the first ball.
Well, that means he's still bowling to Sikandar Raza here. And this time it's heaved away through mid-wicket. They should pick up another. They'll try to go for 2. No, it's just a 1. No, they haven't taken the single either.
No, it's turn down the single.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I think that's fair at this point. The goal is to get past 140 at least. Yeah. He's called for a different bat as well. I think he's done some damage to his bat with that shot across the line. They don't have a long shelf life, these bats these days. I remember talking to Ravi Bopari. He tells me that he travels with between 6 and 8 bats at any given time. And I'm like, wow. That's, I remember a time when you'd buy a bat and that bat would be with you throughout the season, maybe 2 seasons. If you actually got runs with it, you might keep it for superstitious reasons. And all the old school batters did that as well. It's not just like a old man thing. Nowadays, 8 bats in your cricket. How many bats you got, Masad?
I have 1. 132 for 9. And this is thwarted away through the offside. I think he's found the gap. Sikandar Raza. He has. That'll go for 4. That's a good shot.
Yeah.
As Umaid Asif dodges the advertising boards successfully. 136 for 9. They're almost there.
Yeah, it was very acrobatic there from Umaid Asif, just hurdling over those advertising boards, as you say. But yeah, absolutely. Sikandar just vindicating the choice of Lahore for him not to take the single previous ball. It was another slow ball, another short slow ball, waited on it nicely and just punched it just into that gap. Didn't have to get the best of contact, just had to clear the fielder and the outfield was going to do the rest. Valuable runs this that he's providing here, Sikandar, is worth his weight
Oh,
in
he's
gold
gone
right
again,
now.
and he's cleared the infield again. 4 more. 140 up for Lahore. Shocking
just
for
not
Quetta
smart bowling.
Gladiators, but what a turnaround for Lahore.
That's not good bowling from Naveen. I mean, he went pace on this time, but he went full on a sort of half volley length. It was very easy for Sikandar to just smash that ball, kind of pick his spot, really. He didn't really get a great contact on it still, but he waited on it nicely enough to manage to get away for a 1-bounce 4. But that's just not good death bowling at all there from Naveen. He should have continued and persevered with the slower stuff outside the off stump. Length is doing for him. Why you'd go full, I have no idea.
Final ball to the 19th now coming up. Short fine leg and short third man in the circle as Raza brilliantly just works it away to point for a single.
Yeah, it's very clever stuff. Keeps himself on strike. Lahore could still go past 150 now. They've got to 141. It's an outstanding recovery. 50 for 7. You know, you got Shaheen Afridi getting promoted up the order. You got batters falling by the wayside. Good bowling from Quetta. Poor batting from Lahore. All these stars falling one at a time. All these potential stars falling one at a time. And Sikandar Raza, with that little partnership with Rashid Khan, just changed the momentum of the game. And since Rashid Khan went, he's picked it up a little bit, batted so smartly here, you know, picked his shots really nicely, ran between the wickets really astutely, you know, managed the workload that he's giving to Zaman Khan, the number 11. And Lahore, like, you know, I mean, this is 141. I mean, it could be enough.
I think it is enough. I think with their bowling attack, they've got to back themselves. But as a Quetta fan,
Absolutely.
I have to say, Atif, I am absolutely livid right now. And you're here and you're a guest on the show, and so I'm being very nice about the way Quetta have gone about things tonight. But this is frankly ridiculous. To concede 140 plus after you have a team 50 for 7. I mean, there's something intrinsically wrong as Sikandar Raza pummels this over the side screen for 6. What a hit! Umaid Asif has been greeted by a maximum. And forget about 140. They're looking at 160 now, the Qalandars.
Yeah, that is brilliant from Sikandar. But again, poor bit of bowling from Umaid Asif. So full, right in that hitting arc. That's all he had to do was get his hands underneath it, Sikandar. He's already really deep in his crease, got in line with it perfectly, almost like a golf shot that. Bang down the ground for 6. Brilliant batting, poor bowling.
I think this is a contention for one of the greatest PSL innings now.
I think so. You know, it's the scenario that he came into play at, the way he's, the maturity, certainly one of the most, you know, intelligent knocks.
This time he swings over mid-wicket. Sweeper's there, and Muhammad Nawaz will collect, and they'll come back for second. No, they'll be out. Finally, Quetta pick up their 10 wickets. My goodness, it's been a complete mess from them after they had the Qalandars for 50 for 7. But we thought tonight would be about the Gladiators bowling, but it's been all about Sikandar Raza. He came in when his team were 7 down, and then he scored 70 off 33, 6s and 4s, and he took a liking to all sorts of bowlers, the pacemen and the spinners, and, well, he went after all of them successfully. And it's a very refined art batting with the tail, and, of course, Rashid Khan helped that task quite a bit. But Sikandar Raza did a really good job of it, even towards the end, propelling the Qalandars to 148, which at the end of the night might be a match-winning score. A brilliant effort from the Qalandars. It shows the kind of character they've built around their squad, that they've managed to pull out from 50 for 7 into a match-winning position. We're going to take a 10-minute break, leave you with a playlist for tonight. And once the inning returns, we will be back to see if Quetta should get over the line or if this momentum-shifting innings from Sikandar Raza has just done enough. Right, since we've got the best part of the Oreo out of the way, let's get back to the best part of this cricket match. It's going to be the Quetta Gladiators giving chase to what in an ordinary T20 game would be a pretty basic total, but considering they had the Qalandars for 50 for 7, you have to feel that the momentum right now rests strongly with the team in lime hot green. Yasir Khan, we'll see him for the first time this season. He's got a very good PSL strike rate of over 150. And alongside him, I think, which is the correct decision finally from the Gladiators to open with Will Smeed. Mind you, he opened for the Gladiators last season, and he did a really good job at that, including a high score of, I think it was 95 or 97, almost got to his maiden PSL 100. Shaheen Afridi's got the ball in hand, and like Atif was saying earlier, really, there aren't any better bowling attacks you would want to defend a low score in any T20 game. Shaheen Afridi, complemented by Haris Rauf, Zaman Khan, the emerging pick, Rashid Khan, and even David Wieser, to be honest, in this tournament has been in very decent form. 149 is the target, and it will be the local boy that will face full toss from Shaheen Afridi. Brilliantly fielded off his own bowling, almost turned into a cotton bowl opportunity to make sure that it's just a dot. Great start, great intent.
Yeah, good bit of pace, a bit of aggression there from Shaheen Afridi, just over pitching there, and maybe the young man just a little bit unprepared for it, just caught a little bit off guard by the full toss, couldn't do much with it, but good bit of fielding by Shaheen, fully committed as well. You get the feeling he's searching for that full fast Yorker early doors.
Yeah, he's looking for that swing in the right-hander. He tries again, but this is a poor delivery. Full toss on the pad. Should have been put away for 4 by Yasir Khan, but he finds square leg and he gets off the mark. So do Quetta Gladiators. 1 for no loss after 2.
Yeah, it's a staple fielding position for Shaheen. He's always looking for that fast Yorker, especially early when the ball is swinging. He wants to keep it as full as possible. That's why there's always a risk of a full toss. He doesn't really want it to pitch. He wants it to move in the air and, try and beat the bat at the pace and with a really full delivery. But because of that, if he's protected with the overpitch delivery with that deep backward square leg, good positioning there. Will Smeed will punish these deliveries if he gets the opportunity, though.
Yep, and he's got number 23 on his back. No pressure on him. As this is another brilliant delivery on leg stump. Big appeal from Afridi, but it's going down leg side. That Yorker again, that swing again, just missing his line a little bit. But again, Afridi, so good in the first over, making the ball talk. And Atif, I've got a quick story for you about the Pakistan cricket team and the 2020 T20 World Cup. And they made the conscious decision of giving Shaheen Afridi the first over instead of the second. And so typically he was bowling the second and the fourth. He ended up bowling the first and the third. Did you like that decision added about 4 to 5 degrees of swing to his bowling, and the rest, as we know, is history. What happened throughout that tournament, 2 for no loss, and since then he's been bowling the first and the third since that World Cup tournament. Yasir Khan 1 off 2. Free seeming into a slip in place again, goes for the Yorker. Yasir really can't do much about it, just digs it out for a single.
Yeah, I mean, the key is really with these balls they use these days, the swing goes out of them very, very quickly, especially in the surfaces. On the pitches in Pakistan, they're very abrasive. The grass is very abrasive. It scuffs up that ball very, very quickly. It takes the shine off it. So he's always been very keen to just keep it as full as possible. He'll bowl length sometimes in certain conditions, but Shaheen is all about keeping the ball full, allowing it to swing while there's still access for that to happen. Even if one bowler has been bowled before, it makes total sense, right? It's taken a little bit off the ball. So yeah, it makes total sense, and he's one of the best proponents of it.
This time it's wide outside off, driven beautifully by Will Smeed through the covers for 4. That's the first boundary for the Gladiators. And that's what Atif was talking about. Any freebies for Will, and you can almost expect a boundary.
Yeah, he's never going to give up on that. He's never going to miss out on that kind of ball. It was full and wide outside the off stump, and it was going to be driven too easy for Will Smeed. Just leaned into it. And Shaheen maybe just looking for a change of angle to Will Smeed, maybe trying to show him a little bit more respect than the other opener, but just failing a little bit, finding that awkward in-between place between a good length and a full-length delivery. And in the end, it was just driven comfortably by Will Smeed, who is a class act with the bat.
Final ball of the first over now coming in. And again, just a little bit of width outside off stump. Will Smeed, it really is not a bad delivery, but he still drives it away for 4. That's how good he is. 11 for no loss after the first.
Yeah, he's a quality batter, Will Smeed. Like, you've got your margin for error as a bowler is minimal when you're bowling to him, because if you go too short, he'll swivel and put you away. If you go too full, he's going to drive you through the covers, through the onside, particularly in the power play. You know, he's not really had to do anything too risky. He's played both shots along the ground that he scored boundaries off. He knows what he's doing. He knows it's not a monster chase either. It's one of those chases where you just want to keep your head about you as well and kind of see off the threat a little bit and accumulate without taking too many risks. And he's quality, man. It's so frustrating that Quetta left him on the bench for their earlier games. It was kind of ridiculous. I know you got Roy and Guptill to work with, but even so, you're leaving a gun, modern T20 player on the bench with a proven track record as well. It was heresy. It was ridiculous. It was absurd. I mean, you know, it was just stupid, frankly.
The most ridiculous thing about that entire saga... Yeah, go ahead, Atif.
No, sorry. I was just going to say Yasser broke his bat about 3 deliveries ago, but he's only just realized that it was broken and got his bat changed. But that was fun to watch. Sorry, please go ahead.
Yeah, look, the most ridiculous thing about the whole Will Smeed saga was the fact that the runs that he had scored were for Quetta, so he was a proven quantity for this team. I mean, he wasn't playing another league or a different franchise. He did it for the Gladiators just a season ago. So for me, it was just a ridiculous idea not to play him. But that's what happens when sometimes, on occasion, you draft these big personalities. Not even big personalities, just big international stars, and you feel like you have to oblige to them. Haris Rauf is opening the bowling for a change, as this is gloved over the keeper's head for 4. Brilliant shot by Yasser Khan. Rauf begins with a bouncer. It has plenty of pace on it, around 140 kph, but Yasser's just as good. And that's the one bouncer for the over already done. That's an interesting comment from Sajjad saying, when I jaywalk, I like to think I'm sneaking in a quick single.
I do that too. Sometimes, well, I was going to say something a bit absurd, so I'm not going to now, actually, but that's okay.
Are jaywalking laws strict in London?
No, not at all. Like, it's a kind of a staple of a Londoner that you know exactly where and when to jaywalk.
Right, okay. Similar to here in Dubai. Defended away to the offside. Although we do have strict fines, so tourists often fall into that trap because you've really got to know where to jaywalk and where not to.
Wait, hang on a second. People walk in Dubai?
Look, it's not bad here between December to March.
I've never seen pedestrians. I mean, to be fair, I was there for a grand total of 8 hours last year. But yeah, it was. I didn't see a single pedestrian in my whole time there.
I don't blame you. To be fair, like there's lots of parts of the city that are just not designed for walking, as this is worked away to point for no run. But where, if you move into like older downtown areas, that's actually a lot of stuff happens on foot and by bike. So you'll see a lot of pedestrians there. Now, there's still space for cars even in those areas just because of the climate. But you'll see a lot of people walking around in those parts.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't know. It's worked. Look, listen, the data is very much on your side. I'm losing all my friends to Dubai at the moment. Every other person I know seems to be moving there, just for the lifestyle element. So it must be fun over there. I guess
this is a good part. This is a good time of the year. If you asked me the same thing in June, I'd be happy to move to London. But it's the outside edge this time. Haris Rauf, very quick, 143 plus. But he still got a boundary off this over already. Yasser 15 for no loss after 1.4. London in June, is it a dream?
Well, it's getting hotter and hotter. Like, global warming is hitting us. Every summer it gets really, really warm now in England. Playing cricket can be quite tricky, actually, just in the warmth. Actually, I think it was June last year, the hottest day of the year, when we were at Durham for England versus Sri Lanka. I think it was England versus Sri Lanka. It might have been someone else. South Africa, sorry, England versus South Africa.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what happened in a
second.
Worked
away through mid-wicket. They're going to come back for 2 here. Oh, chance for a run out here. Terrible decision-making. But thankfully, this throw is a bit wayward and there's nobody backing up. A comedy of errors from Quetta and then Lahore. Will Smeed just coming down the track, almost presuming there was a second. Yasser sent him back, but by the time he came back, he should have been run out, but there was just nobody there.
Yeah, it was uncharacteristically poor fielding from Rashid Khan there. He was very slow on it, and he put in a very poor throw as well. Keeper had to start running towards the ball and get between him and the stumps, but yeah, it wasn't the best of throws from Rashid.
But somebody should have been backing up, right? Surely.
No, the keeper? No, you mean the batter?
Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, in terms of if the keeper's moved away from the stump, somebody else jumps in. That's the rule of thumb.
It was the split second.
Wow, Will Smead just gets on top of this one and punches it through a drive through the offside for 4. That's a great shot. 20 for no loss after 2, and the Gladiators in complete control so far.
Yeah, it's a terrific shot from Smead, all class again, just riding the bounce of it and just punching it, not having to do too much. This is brilliant from Smead. Like, he's showing different facets to his game. People think of him as sort of like a belligerent batter, which he can be when he needs to be, but also he understands the scenario. Quetta very much in control of this game. They just want to ride out this early phase, the early threat, while the ball is, kind of swinging a little bit, while the bowlers are really fresh. If you just ride out that threat, your odds of winning go high, get smaller and smaller, or higher and higher, or lower and lower, however odds work. I don't know. Yep. But yeah, they've been very, very good so far. Quetta, that one bit of indecision in between the stumps notwithstanding.
20 for no loss after 2. Yasser Khan 7 off 8. Smead at 12 off 4. Great start, and Freedy continuing here as he moves across the line of the right-hander. Sam Billings is a wicketkeeper for Lahore. I just think he's such an invaluable addition to this franchise. Even if they don't do well tonight, which it looks like Quetta should get over the line the way they've started, but there's a proper chance that Lahore could still go all the way.
Without a doubt, yeah. I mean, when you think of players in franchise teams, people tend to think of the stars and the big name players. But what you want is a player that fits nicely into your team and kind of fills a gap in that side. That's exactly what Billings, I beg your pardon, has
quick
done.
Single, he's just stolen that one as it just was defended away to the offside. Sprinted quickly. Smead took off almost immediately, and Yasser was there to compliment him. 21 for no loss after 2.2. So tell me about this, Asif. When we're on Change of Pace, doing commentary, and we've done our fair share of test matches too, and when we're working from home, what's it like when you're doing commentary for someone like Sky or the BBC? How much support do you get in terms of your data and your cues and your little anecdotes about players, or is that just all on you as a commentator to bring in that research, as is the case with sometimes in football or for soccer for some people, driven away to the offside for no run?
So, I mean, I've never worked for Sky, so I couldn't tell you. I mean, I know that they have a statistician on board for every international game that they cover. I'm not sure if they have anybody for county cricket, but then again, it's kind of widely accepted that the BBC's county coverage is a lot more. It's just better because they have specialists from each county giving you coverage of county cricket. But yeah, in terms of the BBC, like, you do get some stats. Sometimes you have a stats person, a scorer, we call them. Andy Zoltzman's our guy, but that's only again for international matches when England's playing. In other games, games that aren't considered, as important, I'll break off.
Driven away through the offside for a single. 21 for no loss. 22 for no loss. Sorry.
Yeah. You don't get as much support. You do have to do a ton of research for every game. Like during the IPL, we have almost zero support, so we're working on that. Yep. Bash is exactly the same. The World Cup, we do get these brilliant stats sheets, but again, if you want to, you've got to try and bring your own stuff. You don't have access to like a Mazhar Arshad or anybody like that. Right. Alongside you, giving you that level of support at the BBC, it's kind of more on you.
Mm-hmm. 22 for no loss. That's quite the complete job, isn't it? Because even once you're done, you got to go home and get ready for the next game. Oh, that's a poor delivery from Shaheen. Far too down the leg side, and it's nothing. It's caught nothing. It's going to be 5 wides, in fact. So, terrible start here for the Qalandars. 27 for no loss. Gladiators still keeping control of this chase. So you're going home after each game and doing research for the next one.
Well, usually if you got 2 in a row, you'll do research ahead of both of them, and you might add some incremental stuff after each day. Test cricket's very different. During the 100, I find myself doing a lot of research because I'm covering a lot of the women's games, and there's not as much data out there on women's players, and you want to have insightful, interesting things to say. So it takes a lot more time. I make a lot more phone calls. I do a lot more research.
Good delivery this time, just beating the outside edge of the batter, and it's not collected cleanly by Sam Billings, which will allow for a bye to be taken. So another error from the Qalandars. But I'm glad you're putting in that work, Atif. To be honest, I think it just adds a lot of value to the listener at the end of the day because it's not just entertainment. The cricket fan has evolved. They're not looking for just the loud noises. Although in T20 cricket, sometimes that does take over in certain productions. But when you can bring a little bit of numbers and context and some personal stories, anecdotes, I think it puts together a proper storyline. Oh, it's the top edge. It's gone high in the air, and it'll evade 2 running Qalandars and go for 4. Zaman Khan, not for the lack of effort, to be fair, was giving chase, but the ball beat him for another boundary. 32 for no loss after 3.
Yeah, this is looking ominous now for Lahore. But yeah, just to go back to that point on commentary and research, absolutely. I think the most important thing for broadcasters is to be acutely aware of their audience, right? So if you've got a bunch of anecdotes and things like that, how do they fit into the broadcast that you're doing? How will the audience respond to them? Are you doing them a service? Are you still making sure the cricket is paramount? What kind of insight are you bringing to the cricket? Are you doing any justice to the cricketers, some of whom are getting that spotlight for the very first time, particularly in the women's game. So a lot of these players, you want to, give them that shop window properly and do it justice and make sure you're not doing them a disservice. So yeah, a ton of work goes into it. But the truth is, I really enjoy doing it. Like, doesn't feel like work for me looking up cricket stats. It feels like something I would do for fun. Have you ever, Musa, done those quizzes on Sporkle?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So it's like that. You find yourself doing like Sporkle quizzes just for fun. And
smacked by Yasir Khan through mid-wicket for 4. Zaman Khan replacing Haris Shroff, but the result is very similar for the Qalandars. Just a little bit of length on offer, and the pace will help the batter this time as Yasir gets another boundary. 36 for no loss to Gladiators after 3.1.
Yeah, it's a terrific shot. And it just shows what spending a little bit of time at the crease can do for your confidence. This is the same kind of length that he was feeling very awkward with early on. Like, he was struggling with fuller length from Shaheen Afridi. This time it's slow. It sits up a little bit from Zaman Khan, but he's got used to the surface. Doesn't take any risk. Plays it all the way along the ground towards mid-wicket. Terrific shot.
So maybe it wasn't the pitch then. Maybe it was a bit of the Qalandars batting that was the issue. Good Yorker there from Zaman. Just dug out for a quick single. Brilliant running there. Honestly, just saw the fielder inside the circle was on his heels a bit, and Yasir took off quickly. 37 for no loss now.
Although he sort of ran down the middle of the pitch almost. He'd get a telling off from some umpires for that.
Yeah.
But not the umpire right in the middle right now. So, yeah, I mean, I think the pitches do sort of even out a little bit over the course of a match as well. They do get progressively easier to bat on. And obviously there's things like dew and things like that to deal with as well. But that batting does get easier the more time you spend out there. But also it gets easier the more cricket that's being played on the pitch. You sort of even them out a little bit. I remember Ruj Mumtaz telling me about, the way Pakistani pitches flatten out over time.
Slower delivery this time from Zaman, and Smeed gets on top of it, punching it straight a backward point for no run.
I tell you what, like, her analysis on a pitch is insane. I remember standing with her in Multan and looking at, sorry, it wasn't Multan, it was Rawalpindi, and the pitch was very well maligned. Everybody talked about how, everybody was going on about the state of the pitch for the first test match between Pakistan and England. And, I just talked to her a little bit about the soil and the cracks and what they do and the difference between different countries. And she had so many different insights and such a wonderful knowledge. And I'll break off it.
The bouncer this time from Zaman. It's too short, and it's going to be given wide by the umpire. It's another poor over for the Qalandars so far. Yes, Ruj Mumtaz, Atif, she really is I think she's the best commentator in Pakistan at the moment.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that. Just in terms of her knowledge and her presentation, which has just gotten better year on year. Her knowledge is outstanding. It's very hard to, argue with. And she obviously spends time with the kind of people that build her knowledge. So someone like me tries to spend time with the Ruj Mumtaz. She tries to spend time with other people who know even more, and so on and so forth.
That is just an absolutely exquisite drive from Will Smeed. That's the kind of shot that even Babar Azam would be proud of. A little bit of room from Zaman Khan, and Smeed frees his arms through the offside for 4. 42 for no loss now. The Quetta Gladiators look like a team reinvigorated, a team that's finally found their mojo a little late in the season, but as they say in Urdu, derai durustai. That's a shot. That's a really good shot. Derai
durustai indeed. Well, apni crease ke thode se bahar bhi khada hua tha, like towards the edge of the crease. He's not quite outside his crease, but he's not deep in his crease as well, as often batters are for fast bowlers when they're pounding in towards them. He's very confident right now, Smeed.
42 for no loss. In comes Zaman. The penultimate ball of this over. Swing and a miss this time from Smeed. But still just 10 off the over already, so the damage has been done. Kami's putting it very simply. Atif, he's saying Aruj knows ball. I'd say you could put that on a t-shirt and I'd wear it.
Yeah, it's not so much like knowing all. It's like it's like wanting to gain the knowledge, but also being very generous with your knowledge, right? Like I've been very lucky. Everybody who's taught me or been willing to teach me or give me an insight into cricket, like I've been some of the great female broadcasters, right? And it's not just about the cricket itself, but also broadcasting tips and things like that.
Yeah,
and the
driven
differences
this time
between
to cover.
TV and radio.
Bit of a misfield there at the man outside the edge of the circle. That really is not something Lahore can afford with the small total they're defending. Abdullah Shafiq, the fielder, as Sikandar Raza encourages him. And they'll pick up a couple runs because of that mistake. 44 for no loss after 4. The dream power play for the Gladiators. Before you go on about the commentary, Atif, is it worth bringing Rashidin into the power play right now?
I think so. I think, it's time to take a risk for Lahore. Absolutely. These two batters have settled in well. They're playing their shots. They're feeling fluent. They're looking fluent against the seam bowlers. You have to try something different. I get the feeling they might throw the ball to Wisa, actually. I don't know why. I just get that feeling. But you're ahead of me. You'll probably know. But the wolf, yeah, exactly. You call the wolf. But I would call Rashid absolutely at this point. You just need to do something different. You need to attack the batters in a slightly different way. You got to break this partnership, and you got to do it now because the game is very quickly disappearing for Lahore.
Yeah, well, we're looking at another drone shot of the Gaddafi, and I'll tell you why, because Lahore have shown up in numbers again. It is a completely sold-out show here at the Pakistan Super League on a Thursday night. That is not bad. This city, it just keeps on proving its love for this game, time and time again, whether it's Pakistan playing or Lahore playing, or frankly any other franchise in action. Rashid Khan is into the attack, not the wolf. They'll call the leggy, in fact. And he starts off with a quick one on the leg side, worked away to the leg through mid-wicket for a single, 45 for no loss after 4-point. Long-time listener of the show, Gail, is asking you, Atif, what about Ebony Brainford? Have you worked with her? Can you tell us anything about her?
Ebony is like the love of my life. I adore her so much. She was the first person I was on test match commentary for Test Match Special with, and she just put me at complete ease, man. Like I've seen other people make their debuts, and other commentators take a few liberties with them, but she was so nice with me, and like to this day, she's someone I really adore. And even when that whole man-cat stuff was going on, she gave me a call and checked in on me to make sure I was okay. And she's
that
just
got
the
a little
best, man.
serious, didn't it?
The best kind. It got very serious. It started as sort of,
short
it kind
ball
of
this
descended
time.
very
Pummel
quickly.
through mid-wicket from Smeed for 4. Even Rashid Khan can't escape the Gladiators right now, but to be fair, it was a poor delivery in terms of the length. And it's a bit of a drag down from Rashid. It should have been punished. It was.
Yeah, absolutely. Too short and punished for it. That man-cat thing got kind of heavy, and it was nice actually because it kind of showed me who cared. Like a lot of people got in touch, like it kind of separated a few things. Like having an opinion on cricket, I'll break off.
Yeah, look, just a dot delivered to the offside. But honestly, Atif, first of all, I'll just put it on the record that I kind of actually agree about with your man-cat opinion. Oh, that one's kept low here on the bounce, so going down the leg side, so no, it won't be given out. I just feel like it's a completely legal dismissal, but it's a bit sly. I feel that way about obstructing the field appeals. I feel that about a lot of things that are legal in cricket. So let's not open that Pandora's box, but for sure the way it blew up. Obviously it comes with the fact that you're a bit of a cricketing personality. Pulled away this time mid-wicket. Oh, what a brilliant fielding effort! That is spectacular on the rope. I think that's Sikandar Raza. It certainly is night. I thought that was certainly going for 6. It was picked up by to the mid-wicket boundary. Almost a sure chance of going for the full half a dozen. Sikandar Raza jumps up, sticks a hand out, and saves a boundary.
Man, 10 out of 10 for commitment as well. Sikandar Raza, his team is really up against it. They look like they're heading for a defeat here, but that is absolutely outstanding. It was another drag down. Didn't quite get a hold of it as he would like, Smeed, and just about had the distance on it. Raza, as you say, he was falling away, chucked the ball back in, and then he got up so quickly, sprinted, attacked the ball, and got the throw back in. That is proper commitment. You got to I have not enough praise for this man. Just outstanding.
I'll tell you what, the kind of night he's having, Atif might as well give him the ball. Drag down again. This time Smeed pulls it to long on for a single.
they should give him the ball. He's recognized all-rounder as well, so he can definitely bowl. And I think, why not? Sometimes you have to go with a feel. They've conceded 50 plus already, and that's just in the first 5 overs. Lahore, Quetta looking very, very good here to close out this game, to close out that advantage, to put behind them the way they fell away from 50 for 7 and allowed Lahore to get up to 148. Like, they've just started brilliantly here. Yeah. But yeah, just to go back to that man-cat thing, put a bow on it. Like, I just expressed an opinion. It wasn't even like, I acknowledged that it's a legal dismissal. I just didn't like that it was becoming more mainstream. It's not, and then people get really passionate. There were a lot of sort of Indian cricket fans specifically who went after me, and then also a lot of Pakistani cricket fans who were feeling defensive of the team, who maybe saw it as a personal attack, which it certainly wasn't, but that's the way they saw it. Yeah. And then people who generally hate British Pakistanis, they piled on as well. So it was like, it was a tough old week.
But big appeal from Harris. Really cool. He thinks this is LBW. It's kept low over on leg stump. His colleagues don't agree with this, to be fair. I might have an inside edge.
I think it's going down leg.
I think it might also have a little bit of bat on it, to be honest.
Yeah.
They're not going upstairs.
There's a bit of inspiration now.
There's
a bit of desperation about.
Yeah.
But But anyway, so that was all it was. I wasn't bad mouthing any players. I reached out to the player in question, by the way, and just had a clear the air type thing with her, and she understood, and she didn't take it personally, and she was very nice about it. So it was all fine. And just tried to put it behind, and did a lot of blocking.
Honestly,
people just lose a sense of. They lose a sense of perspective, people when they're talking about cricket sometimes, and like there's just a little bit of people get carried away. Let's put it that way. And I give a little bit of latitude, but not a lot.
It's that thing. As it's a dot delivery, goes for a wild slash outside off stump. Will Smeed hitting the deck hard. Harris Ralph with a lot of pace behind it. It's that thing that people always tell me about Twitter. If you go on Twitter and you say that you like apples, there's going to be some guy out there that comes and says, "Why do you hate oranges?"
That's not what he'll say. He'll say, "You effing moron! How dare you not talk about effing oranges in this effing scenario?" And that's what he'll say, right?
Well,
and he'll probably say in a few different languages.
Yes, to put
I learned a lot of Hindi swear words actually.
Yeah, to put it more accurately.
That's
exactly it.
I learned more Hindi swear words from that man-cat situation than I did from Mirzapur seasons 1 and 2 combined.
Drove away to the offside for no run. The cover fielder does well. Yeah, no, look, I get you. I've been on the receiving end. I'm definitely not at the scale that you did at that man-cat, but even at a smaller scale, it can get a bit...
I've got, world-renowned fast bowlers coming after me. Like, Dale Steyn had to go as well. People were so... And then Piers Morgan had my back, and at that point, I really had to rethink my opinion.
That's when you've really screwed up. In the air.
I'm like...
To the offside.
Why is Piers Morgan... I was like, why is Piers Morgan having my back? And Michael Vaughan's got my back. And then all of a sudden thinking damn, am I really on the right side here of this?
Yeah, next thing you know, you've got a tweet from Margaret Thatcher supporting you.
Well, there was a lot of sort of right-winginess as well about the support, and I understand that it sort of turned into that. Yeah. But it was just a very personal opinion. My opinion came down to the kid that fell in love with cricket when I was a kid. Started playing club cricket.
Yeah,
I saw the game in a very different way. That's all it was. Anyway, let's forget about man-cats. That's my opinion. A lot of people. The odd thing is, a lot of people. That's all they know of me. They just associate me as that white English, that wannabe white English guy who likes man-cats.
I think there's always going to be a petri dish of people that are looking for controversy. For the most of us, it's rather clear it was a personal opinion. I think people in the chat will concur. Direct hit, but not out. And Harris Ralph has bowled 4 dot deliveries in a row here, exactly what Qalandars needed. As I say that, it's just been clipped away to square leg for a single. 53 for no loss after 5.5. I will say, though, that you don't expect things to snowball. I don't just mean your man-cat analysis, but just generally, you're talking about a dismissal in a sport, and suddenly it becomes right versus left, or colonialism and all of that jazz. You don't think of that perspective or that far out context when you're tweeting such a thing. So yeah, it can get rather ridiculous on there. 53 for
and
no loss.
People just undermine all the other things they said. But one bit of advice I will give everybody out there, that if you ever get involved in any kind of Twitter controversy...
Oh, he's gone. I'm going to have to stop you there, because that's a huge wicket here Haris Rauf looked ominous in this over. He'd strung together a few dot deliveries. There was a single towards the leg side that brought on Yasir Khan, and a full fast delivery outside off stump catches the Pakistani opener fishing, finds the outside edge. Sam Billings takes the catch, and Lahore have a wicket. Quetta now 53 for 1.
I get the feeling it's a little bit too late for Lahore now to get back in this game. Also, they've got Yasir rather than Will Smeed. Yasir hadn't really got away with it. He was slightly kind of cheerleader affected by Smeed going well at the other end, but that was a bit of a wild swing. Didn't get in line with the ball. Outside edge, easy catch for Billings. Well done to Haris for getting the wicket. But yeah, it's still a very tall order for Lahore to get back in this game. Although, just looking at the body language of some of these players, particularly Sikandar Raza, again, they believe they can still do this.
Absolutely.
Which, shows you a bit of the confidence of this team. But anyway, sorry, just to come back while they're changing batters to the advice, right? This came from Carlos Brathwaite, and it was a brilliant piece of advice, and I love him forever for this, right? He messaged me, he said, Atif, just mute the thread. Right, just mute the notifications for that tweet. Right, I'm like, why? Like, people are attacking me. I won't know. Carlos Brathwaite.
Oh, okay.
So he messaged and he said, like, just mute it. Like, you don't need all of this. People are having a go left, right, and center. Some people will agree with it. You just don't want to. You don't need to expose yourself. Just mute it. It's fine. You don't need to think about it anymore. And he was so right, because like you agonize over, because there's some people who are your cricketing heroes, and then now they're attacking you and they're having a go at you, and you're like, man, why? I wasn't even like, you're misunderstanding. I don't want you to think. You start to go into your head about it. But if you just mute it and you just forget about it and you just let it go, it's better. I didn't want to delete it because I certainly didn't want to take back what I said. I meant it, but at the same time, like, I didn't want to, I didn't want to put myself through all that, because it was a really crappy time, man, to be honest with you. Anyway, Rashid is back.
Rashid is back. Starts off with a dot delivery to Will Smeed, who's on strike 31 off 22. Yeah, look, I'm sorry you had to go through that, to be honest. Sometimes it feels like it's just a big joke, but then when you're on the receiving end of these things, it often gets quite serious. And like you said, Dale Steyn and company getting into the act. I mean, those guys are everyone's heroes, to be fair. People just need to keep in mind that there is another guy at the other end of the conversation, pulled away to square leg. I often feel, Atif, because I run into much smaller scale arguments, specifically on Twitter. I always walk away of them thinking, look, if we were having this conversation in person or even over the phone, it would have never turned this sour. I just feel like the personal side of things gets taken away often on the internet, and it turns things. People just have the tendency to become more radical and more binary when they're speaking with just their words over a social media platform, because it's almost like you're performing in front of a gallery. 54 for 1 as a dot delivery follows.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, the whole experience did change the way I approach Twitter a little bit now.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have that kind of, I don't know. I don't have that kind of buoyant, and it's curbed my enthusiasm. Let's put it that way.
Quick single. Great show, by the way. To the offside.
Yeah.
55 for 1.
I haven't seen the new seasons of it. Worth a watch? The new ones?
I haven't seen the new ones. Yeah, look.
Yeah,
Lavisa coming in with a comment. The only person stopping me from beefing people on Twitter is always Masad. I mean, I just think that you're running. It's an endless cycle of despair. This platform, especially with all the anonymous accounts coming after you. 55 for 1 after 6.5. 94 off 70.
Oh, dude, but it could be a wonderful space. So look, because of Twitter, I was able to get in touch with people like yourself, people whose work I really respect, people whose work I enjoy, people with whom I like sparring and talking about cricket and sharing opinions and, having these sort of, controlled.
Oh, he's gone. Will Smeed is gone now. Rashid Khan bowls a leg spinner. It was a bit of a half tracker, but it kept low. And Will Smeed goes for the sweep across the line, hits his back leg. I think this is crashing into leg. No point reviewing that. And suddenly, I think Qalandars are back in the game.
That's the big wicket. That's the one they wanted. And again, it wasn't the best delivery in the world from Rashid, but he's so quick through the air that even when he pitches it short, you don't have a ton of time as a batter to swivel on it. Even if you're a batter as good as Will Smeed, that was a bit of an error from him. It is more batter's mistake than bowler's genius. But even so, a big wicket, as you say. And now, all of a sudden, Lahore have a bit of a sniff here. If they can keep this momentum going, just crash through another couple of wickets, might get a squeaky bum finish.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, if maybe a review was worth it there. It looks like it could have been sliding down leg.
Oh, I don't know. I think but you're ahead of me in terms of pictures. I'm just looking at it. It makes me think it's either hitting leg or clipping leg at the very least. It's maybe worth taking it just because it's Will Smead, but maybe it gives you an indication of how he's valued in the side, and maybe the way his self-value's been affected, that he didn't even consider taking the review, which is a shame in some ways. But
yeah, should have at least consulted Martin Guptill.
Yeah, maybe we're the only people overthinking it to that level, to be fair.
Yeah, fair enough. 55 for 2 after 7. Look, Quetta are still ahead of the game. The required run rate's around 7. It's not a big ask by any means. Hafiz now coming in at number 4. Not a lot to do for him. Just needs to rotate the strike a bit, and Quetta will be home sooner.
Yeah, to put a bow on the Twitter conversation, I think most of the time, I think it's fine. It's a force for good, and I like it. And I like the people that I get in touch with and get connected with and share opinions. And obviously, there's an element of opportunity that comes with it as well. But I do sometimes find myself daydreaming, Musad, of a time where I can get off all social media and I don't need it anymore. I can still pick up work. I can just pick up my work, do my gigs, live life, find a woman, get married, and move on with everything.
Honestly, that sounds like a good idea. I agree with both sides of what you've just said, because frankly, Change of Pace wouldn't exist without Twitter. A lot of the community that's listening in right now, people that are sending in the comments, you coming onto the show, so many of the guests that we've connected with, the following that we've grown is all because of that platform. I would say for the most part, it's been a very positive influence on our limited scope of work with Pakistan cricket. Edge this time runs down a third man for a single, as we've got, I think it's David Weezer that's come on to bowl. Yep, it is. The first 2 deliveries, the first one went for a dot, now a single that brings on Mohammad Hafiz on strike. But yeah, but then there's also an overwhelming amount of negativity, frankly. And for me, I think it's kind of crept in a lot more over the last year and a half. I've seen, and I don't talk about this a lot, but I've seen cliques forming. I've seen opinions being kind of presented in groups. There's a lack of individuality. And also a big, strong movement of just discrediting anybody that doesn't agree with you on every single finite point, which is frankly impossible. 56 for 2 after 7.2. So now I'm thinking like you, Atif, maybe just settle down, quit all social media, and just have a good life. Because I know people that do that, and I kind of envy their carefreeness.
Yeah, sadly, in this line of work, which reminds me, I've got some stand-up comedy shows I need to plug on my Twitter.
Well, you can plug them now even. I'm going to hit the backward point, and that'll just be a dot delivery. 56 for 2. Where are you performing next?
Next time at BAFTA in London next week, I believe. But there's 30 dates that I've announced for this year so far, and I put them all on the website. You go to atifnawaz.com. Atif with 2 A's, and they're all there if you're in England and you want to see some stand-up.
Here's an idea, Atif, something that we haven't talked about. Maybe we should talk about it here in front of everybody listening in. You've got 30 days on the calendar in the UK as a stand-up comedian, and a dot delivery by David Weiss has done really well. Why don't you have a date in Dubai?
I need somebody in Dubai to book me, bud. So I don't promote shows anymore. I mostly just get booked, right? So... Mm-hmm. There's 2 or 3 major promoters in the UK who go through my agent. They work out what my diary is, because obviously there's more cricket now as well in the diary. Yep. Then they book me in and around that. The only time I actually actively promote a tour is if I've written a brand new sort of full show, which I'm working on, but it won't be ready till next year at the very earliest.
Driven through the offside for no run. Well, look, I'm actually going to speak to some guys. I don't know how it works in Dubai. I attend a lot of these shows, but I don't know the logistics around them. And I know a lot of times they get a lot of comedians or a lot of performers flown in. We've got a small club here in Dubai. This culture is obviously not as strong as back in London or somewhere like New York. But it's worth a shout, because there's a very strong Asian community here. I'm sure you know. It comes down the track through the offside for no run.
Well, dude, I've been everywhere, and I had the opportunity to perform in some really cool places. So, not least, places like Japan and America, and all over the place. So, and even Pakistan, actually, oddly enough. But I've, I don't feel that proactive about it. If somebody books me for Dubai, wonderful, I'm there. Mm-hmm. If somebody books me for Tanzania, wonderful, I'm there. I'll go wherever I'm booked for, right? I go everywhere, and I'm happy to do it. I love kind of travel. I love being a road comic. I like being on the motorways here in England. So it's fine. But it's I don't get that fired up about I must find a way into. It'd be nice to come to Dubai. When I was in Dubai last time, I did message yourself and Easy, just to see on the off chance. I wasn't supposed to be in Dubai. I was kind of trapped there for a little while. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it would be nice just to hang out, man. Don't worry. Well, hey, listen, you get me that gig, man. You talk
Why
to
not?
those club promoters,
Exactly.
and you sell them on Different Wires. Tell them to come and do some very hardcore man-cat jokes for about half an hour.
There it is. And Rashid Khan attacking. This game is getting a little bit more interesting than it was 3 overs ago. Now, Quetta are 57 for 2 after 8.1. For the first time in this innings, the required run rate is higher than what they're going at. They're going at 6.98. They need around 7.78 and over. I think that they've left the door ajar here for the Qalandars to squeeze in and create a serious opportunity for themselves. Hafiz is 0 off 4. Guptill is 3 off 5. The pressure is now building around the purple and gold.
Yeah, there is.
Oh, there it is.
There
Another
well.
dot delivery. A wild swing and a miss from Hafiz. The last 19 deliveries out to just 5 runs.
Yeah, they kind of need a little bit more, though. I mean, you get the dots are fine, and they might add to the pressure, but they kind of need to nip away another wicket quickly here because it is the kind of pitch where you can settle and accelerate. So Lahore could complement these dots with a wicket. They're going to do one quickly as well.
Yeah, just an inside edge. Goes to square leg. A bit of a misfield there, but they'll still just be the single. And Rashid Khan, I think, who's into his third over? Because he bowled early in the power play, 58 for 2 here. Still, the required run rate's nothing to sweat about, but they've lost Will Smeed, and that was really the linchpin here for this batting order. Can't believe he was on the bench for most of this tournament as Guptill runs this down to short third man for no run. I also feel, Atif, that when it comes to draft selections, I do disagree with the selection of Martin Guptill. Certainly a world beater on his day and in his heyday, but I feel like he might be a little past it.
Yeah, I think it's quite telling, really, because the guy got 100 this season.
I know.
And despite that, you're not the only one. You're not alone. Oh, what a delivery.
Brilliant delivery from Rashid. Guptill knew nothing about it or which way it was going. It's another dot. Final ball of the 9th coming up. Yeah, Atif, look, that 100 was great. It's actually the only game Quetta won that season. This season, but the rest of the games, the way he's batted has been astonishingly poor, including this one. Now he's 3 off 8 as Quetta Gladiators 58 for 2. They're just not scoring enough runs at a decent pace at the moment.
So in principle, I don't have an issue with Guptill being included. Like, obviously, he's a very talented batter, as he showed when he hit that 100. Very good at accelerating.
Yep.
But it just shows a lack of research that was done by Quetta in picking their team. They paired Guptill with Roy, both of whom are very similar kind of players in a similar level of confidence at the moment in their game. Like, Roy is still rebuilding. Jason Roy is not the same Jason Roy he was in 2019. He's had a few really lean years, got dropped by England, and is sort of on his making his comeback, still not quite settled, right? Guptill is a similar kind of player, playing a little bit more circumspect. They tried to adjust that opening partnership a couple of times in the first few games, but they really should have known ahead of the season that this isn't the kind of the big firing partnership up top.
Here comes David Weiss at this time to Mohammad Hafiz, who runs it down to third man for a single. Yeah, look, not just that. I mean, I think in 2023, if your franchise ends up with a middle order of Mohammad Hafiz, Sarfraz Ahmed, and Omar Akmal, with all due respect to all three professional cricketers, I think it's just a bit of an under preparation from the think tank, because all three of those guys would probably be on a team sheet in 2012 and 13 for good reason. But in 2023, we'll have serious questions as David Weiss continues the train of dot balls for Lahore Qalandars. Guptill just drives it back to him. Question here for you, Atif, from Kami, saying, what kind of stand-up do you do? Is it for British Pakistani community, or is it a general, and is it family-friendly, Atif?
I can do both, bro. So every December, I do this like Muslim comedy tour in England, which is like geared towards family-friendly audiences, and it's all very clean, and you can bring your kids and all that. But during the year, when I'm playing comedy clubs, it gets a little bit blue, and it's certainly not family-friendly.
Oh, go on. I think this is a big wicket here, Atif. Short fine leg was inside the circle. Is that man Sikandar Raza again? I think it was worked away off the hips. And as we know, as Pakistan fans, when Mohammad Hafiz is out there, there's always a chance for a run out. Fakhar Zaman, in fact, the man who threw it. Hafiz is already walking back. It's another wicket here for the Qalandars. And Quetta now have dug themselves a hole.
Yeah, that's a bit of poor running, maybe. I don't know, maybe just set off a little bit late there, Hafiz. I'm not sure. But that fielder made absolutely no mistake. Direct hit, I mean, he's miles out looking at the frame. He didn't even stop to wait for the for Faisal Afridi, the third umpire, to give it out. He just walked off immediately. Did the Muhammad Hafiz, and we were talking about him. I mean, a run out isn't the way to judge someone's innings, of course. But yeah, when we think about the value that Hafiz adds, there is some value that he adds. But at his age and his kind of lack of professional cricket that he's playing at the moment, he shouldn't really be playing in the PSL. You shouldn't have players like that in the PSL anymore. And like if you're picking them, or if you're resorting to picking them, it means your planning has gone awry. Is Quetta's innings going awry here? That required rate is up to 8.57. That's still not like astronomical by any means, and especially you got Guptill and Iftikhar coming out to bat with him. But it's not quite as straightforward as it was looking in the power play.
No, not at all. I think Lahore are favorites right now. Atif, I think it's big trouble here for the Gladiators.
I'm already struggling. I've got to fit a review of this game into 1 minute after we finish the broadcasting.
It's felt like a bit of a saga tonight, to be fair. Not sure how you're going to do that in a minute, but yeah. And folks, if you're listening in and you follow Atif over on Twitter, make sure you follow his links over to the YouTube channel. He's doing a really good job of managing to fit an entire PSL game in a minute. And in fact, it covers all of the key things that happen in the game. It's frankly quite impressive. So make sure you to take a look at those after each PSL game. And Atif, I don't know how you do it, but he manages to put them out rather quickly after each game. I think it's within half an hour of the game being done.
Yeah, I'm usually making notes as I go along, and I have been doing today as well. And you try and think in one-liners when you're doing it, and then you just speak very quickly. Try and change up your tone. People seem to like it. Like last year, I did it over 2 minutes myself and Anam Nadeem, and she was brilliant as well. But as the next ball is played into the onside for a leg by. Sorry, Masad.
No worries.
So we did that together last year. I opted to do it on YouTube this year just because I wanted to work in that 1 minute space and develop the separate space for cricket content and blah, 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 blah. But of course, as anybody who's tried to promote a YouTube channel on Twitter will attest this, but that transition is very difficult because the algorithms are not your friend. So anybody who wants to support it, I'd appreciate it. The channel is called Nawaz Ball. Just check it out. It's PSL in 1 minute is the name of the show. I'll do it straight after the game.
Inside edge on a backward point for a single. And I know Atif wouldn't want to say this, but I'll say this on his behalf. Atif ki show ki aur koi branch nahi hai. 62 for 3 after 10 overs.
I've seen a few other people do it, and that's became its own controversy. But I've decided to let that go. I tell you what, like I let one plagiarism thing go. I couldn't let the second one go.
That one was quite shocking.
Like yesterday, PTV Sports, come on, you're the state broadcaster in Pakistan. Like a word for word copy and paste of a tweet. Like it was frankly atrocious. Mind you, like it went down today. But I was like, what makes me sad is, Wasad, like I personally know there's a lot of sports journalists in Pakistan who are really talented, really capable,
of course,
really want to, get involved, and they get shut out by people who don't want to do the work, who just want to, cheat essentially. And it's frustrating. It's really, really frustrating. That's fine. I back my creativity. I'll come up with another thing and another thing. But, people who get shut out lose hope and they don't want to make more of this stuff. Mind you, I'm still making my 1 minute videos. I don't care if I get less than 100 views per video. I'm making them. I like doing them. So I'm going to keep making them.
That's what it's about. Just enjoy your work. Driven away to the offside. Rashid in for his final over now. 87 required off the final 10. The Quetta Gladiators just need to stay calm and put together a couple partnerships here that should take them home. It's certainly not a big ask, but considering the way Lahore have really got their tails up now, that might be the reason. That might be the difference between these two teams as Guptill continues to defend. And what an acrobatic fielding attempt from Rashid Khan. Almost a cartwheel to stop that single. Love to see it.
Yeah, he's a big Bollywood fan, is Rashid Khan.
Oh, really?
So
okay.
I reckon. Sorry, not Bollywood. Hindi cinema. They don't like the word Bollywood anymore. We've got to call it Hindi cinema.
Really? Smacked away this time. Over mid-wicket. And there's a sweeper out there. Interesting that they've got a man inside the circle and then a man protecting him outside the circle as well. Very heavy leg side field for Rashid Khan. So we can't say Bollywood anymore? Is that the new...
you can. It just irritates some Indian people or fans of Hindi cinema because it's considered incorrect because Mumbai is where the Hindi film industry is from, but then you got Telugu cinema and Tamil cinema, Malayalam cinema. So you got to be like Hindi cinema specifically.
Right, that makes sense. 64 for 3 after 10.4. That required run rate now over 9 and over. That's
But yeah, anyway, I was gonna make some stupid joke about him doing.
Oh, he's got him! He's got Iftikhar Ahmed! That's a massive wicket. Rashid Khan has spun a web around the Gladiators, and now the Qalandars are in the driving seat of this game. Went for the late cut to Iftikhar. Gets an edge. And a brilliant take from Sam Billings up close. 64 for 4 now. Is that it?
Well, that feels like a big moment in this game. And Rashid Khan, as you say, just skidding another quick one through Iftikhar, looking to get on top of it. He just had to see him off. It's his last over. 2 more balls and he was done with Rashid Khan. No patience, Iftikhar. He just had to try and tickle it. Little feather edge through to Billings, who takes it in the top of his webbing, right on the fringes of that webbing. And it's a huge wicket. Like, now, Quetta are going to feel that pressure. Guptill, it's time for him to show his value here. Mohammad Nawaz as well. We've been talking about Imad Wasim and how strong he's been so far and the statement performances he's given. Now it's time for Nawaz to give a statement performance for Quetta, just to remind everybody why he's still Pakistan's preferred all-round spinning option in T20 cricket.
Ridiculous decision-making.
This felt big, Musad. This felt big.
I'm just saying it's just ridiculous decision-making from Iftikhar. With just a couple of deliveries to go, why would you do that?
Absolutely. 2 balls. He just had to see him off. That's all he had to do. And Rashid, on his way out, has got another gift here. I mean, it will still be challenging for Lahore because they'll be done with Rashid here and they'll have to find another option to get through the rest of the overs. But he might have done some valuable damage here for Lahore. It's Sarfraz who's come out to the middle first. So he's got to do this rearguard action.
Not the man you want when you want to go 10 and over. Oh, no, Rashid Khan with his final delivery. Almost gets the captain of Quetta Gladiators as well. He cuts and misses. And 11 overs gone. Quetta are in heaps of trouble.
Yeah, that was a fun little sort of faux celebration there from Rashid and from Sam Billings at the end. He got a big hug from Shaheen Afridi there, Rashid. I know they're both very close friends as well, like, off the pitch, they're very good friends and they like similar things. But yeah, he just, he gave him a hug because he knows that little spell has got Lahore right back in the game. 2 for 14 from his 4 overs. That is brilliant, right up to the billing of a Rashid Khan. That's what you expect. That's what you want. And right now, when you really needed it, he's delivered. Now then, on to the other bowlers. There's still a fascinating contest here because it's still very much in the grasp of Quetta. They should be able to do this still, but you just feel like Lahore have taken the edge.
I have to disagree with you, Atif. As a Quetta fan, I've seen this story far too many times. Last 5 overs, Quetta have been 11 for 4. I think it's curtains. In the air this time, finds the gap on the offside for 4. Guptill keeping my hopes alive.
The suspense you're creating is outstanding because you're ahead of me a little bit. So when you say it's up in the air, I'm like, where did it go? What happened? Was it a 4? Was it a call? What was it? And then I see it happen in front of me, and yeah, that is this is going to be that day. And don't forget, Guptill did accelerate brilliantly in the one game that he did win Quetta.
True.
Maybe it's time for win him a second.
That's a good point. As this is going down leg, but Guptill flicks it away in front of square. They should come back for 2 there. Rashid Khan has been so good in the field, man. He's so acrobatic, so quick to get to it. The release has been good, too. I know he missed that earlier throw, but since then, it really has been a role model fielder.
Oh, yeah, he takes it very seriously. The pitch is his domain. He wants to be involved in everything. He would bowl all 20 overs if he could. He's that kind of character, and he has very high standards for himself as well.
In the air this time by Martin Guptill, who clips it past the bowler, and they'll just pick up a single here alongside Sarfraz. These two have a fun history, Atif, if you know what I'm referring to. 71 for 4 after 11.3.
I do. I do.
Required run rate is just over 9 here as Sarfraz takes guard. We do have live numbers from Quick Viz on the show, and they're showing us that the Qalandars are right now 69% favorites to win the game. It's Quetta Gladiators 31%. So again, Lahore are in charge. 78 PSL matches for Sarfraz, and he's got that one title to his name. He played the winning shot, in fact, in the final of that season. 72 for 4 after 11.4 overs.
Yeah, he's a vastly underrated cricketer, Sarfraz. People forget about the magnitude of his achievements, particularly when they're accumulated, like you say, with a PSL title to his name, including the winning shot, one of the top 10 run scorers in PSL history as well.
Yeah.
In fact, I think he might be top 5, if I'm not wrong. No, I think it's top 10.
Probably, yeah. P-Bat's down the order quite often. But again, this is a single to the offside by Martin Guptill. Just taking along nicely this over, Quetta, 73 for 4. I mean, people that have listened to us in the past, they know that I've been a huge fan of Sarfraz Ahmed. I mean, he's one cricketer that I feel almost personally invested in. I will say that, despite that fact, Atif, and despite the fact that he did well in this year's Test season, I don't think that he's the right man to play T20 cricket anymore, let alone captain a franchise that has a very bright history in this tournament. I do get the feeling sometimes that in Pakistan it's a single this time towards the leg side, 74 for 4 after 12. In Pakistan, we often forget that it's better to leave on a high, better to retire when there's a little bit of time left, and Sarfraz is dragging his feet a bit.
Yes, there is a little bit of that culture in Pakistan. I'm with you. People do kind of hang on a little bit longer than they need to. Which is why it was really refreshing when Bisma Maroof, gave up the captaincy and stepped down. It was the right time for her to do that, but to see it done at the right time in that way was quite refreshing in Pakistan. I don't know. I mean, Sarfraz has a value beyond just his batting prowess within T20 cricket, so I understand that. He probably wouldn't fit into Pakistan's international T20 side, certainly not with Rizwan at the top at the moment and Haris a close second. With the gloves, I mean, and then I'd put Azam ahead of him in the queue as well, to be fair. So I think, I understand that, people think about him aging a little bit and moving on, and he still has a lot of value to offer, I think, a franchise. But I don't know if, I think Quetta's just a bit misshapen. There's ways to kind of just, hide him better in your batting order than he is being head at the moment, maybe. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, look, I think that's a huge part of it. But we're going to have to talk about Sikandar Raza, who's just coming to the attack as Sarfraz Ahmed plays his favorite ever cricketing shot, sweeps it to square leg for 1. What do you make of that action from Sikandar, the way he hides his delivery behind his back when he's coming into ball?
Economy of movement. I love it. He doesn't do too much. Just a little step in, hide the ball behind your back. Bit of Sunil Narayan-esque. I like it. I think it's really, astute. He's going to have He's 36 years of age. You reckon he might still get another 4 or 5 years out of his career?
That one kept low as Guptill drives it to the whitish mid-on fielder for a single. Question coming in for you, Atif, from Gami. He's asking, Atif, did you go to the premiere of the Jemima Khan movie? How was it, if you did?
I didn't go to the premiere, but I did go to a preview screening last year, and I really enjoyed it. I'm not just saying that because of my friendship with Jemima. I genuinely enjoyed the film. I genuinely thought about, the next ball's just been played short of the fielder at point. It makes a good stop, and there is no run. Sorry. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I actually contemplated calling my mum and saying, "Yeah, go for it, mum. Find me somebody. I think I'm sick of trying myself." But it was respectful. It didn't have that sort of superiority complex about it. The ending is a little bit divisive.
They might steal the second here. Brilliant running between Sarfraz and Guptill. Direct hit would have been very interesting on the second, but as this was just guided to the mid-wicket, they knew that they wanted to, and they committed to that. What's it about, this movie? I actually haven't heard of it.
Essentially, it's about an arranged marriage,
right.
And sort of relationship dynamics, and loosely based on sort of Jemima's own story, sort of very loosely based. It's good fun. It's quite funny. I enjoyed a lot of the actors. A lot of the actors in it are friends as well, and they put in good performances. And yeah, it's a good watch. It's fine. It's not like it's a rom-com. It's not supposed to be The Godfather. Yeah. It's still very good. I enjoyed it for what it was. I'd recommend it. It's a nice date movie. If you got a date, take the missus or the hubby, whoever it is you want to take. That's a good film.
Swept away this time to mid-wicket. This time it'll just be a single. Rashid Khan once again very quick in the outfield, making sure that the Gladiators have absolutely no time to even contemplate that second. Final ball of the 13th over now coming up. Sikandar Raza's first over has been economical. He's really been the all-round superstar for the Qalandars tonight. And he comes.
Yeah, he's been superb.
Behind.
He's been absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, and it's going to be worked away through mid-wicket. Just the one.
Yeah, run a ball. I think he'd be more than happy with right now. Shaheen, if he can get these middle phases, middle bits done. Oddly enough, I think both teams will take a runner ball for the next few overs.
Yeah.
Just no wickets falling on one side and the pressure of creating wickets on the other side. It might be a tight finish. I think these two batters, as much as we talk about their limitations, they're both also very capable. They could take Quetta home here, or at least into sort of super over territory.
I'll tell you what's interesting, though. Atif and Lahore at this stage were ahead of Quetta in terms of the runs. They were 83 for 7, while the Gladiators are only 80 for 4. So it's going to come down to the wickets in hand, isn't it?
Well, if they can accelerate, absolutely. But that pressure is building a little bit. The one thing he shouldn't have been feeling in this kind of chase is run rate pressure. But that's where Quetta
there you
find
go.
themselves.
There you go. Gupta. Oh, he finds the man at deep mid-wicket. The pressure was building like Atif was telling us. And Martin Guptill tried to release it. David Wisa goes full outside off stump. It was a bit of a drag down. Should have been hit. The connection was there, but he didn't find the distance on it. And Quetta lose their 5th. 80 for 5. Surely Lahore now should win from here.
10 plus and over required now for Quetta. And it's Winston Wolfe again for Lahore who gets the breakthrough. Just feeling that pressure, as we say. Martin Guptill really wanted to just put away one big blow to just relax everything. But couldn't do it. Wisa gets the wicket. Lahore very much on top now. Now it needs to turn into a proper rescue job for Quetta. If they're to win this game, they're going to pull off an absolute blinder. By the way, should be said that Shafiq held on to that catch quite nicely. We've seen a few of those similar kind of catches go down under lights in this PSL. So he did well just to get underneath it and hold it properly. But yeah, Guptill goes for 15 of 20. More ammunition for the anti-Guptill crowd. And Lahore, wow, what a game it would be for them to win. It'd be kind of a statement win for them if they did do it. Like, we can defend, like, we'll get out of jail after being 50 for 7. That's pretty big, if they can go ahead and close out this game. But still, bit of cricket to be played.
Martin Guptill, the camera pans to him in the dressing room. You can tell that he's not happy at all with the way his night's gone. Odean Smith comes out to bat for the Gladiators. Mind you, if they lose now, it's all but their season done. So a lot now rides on this partnership. Smith's got a great strike rate, 137. That will be fine to take the Gladiators home tonight. It's just about putting together a decent partnership. His captain's on the other end. Let's see what they can put together here. Wisa continues back at the hand, slower delivery this time, driven straight to the man through the covers for a single.
I tell you what, slightly disappointing to see Quetta fall away like this for me, just because I had a friendly Pepe's Peri Peri bet with a friend of mine about where Karachi would finish, and he's a diehard Karachi fan, and I, as we've established, I'm a Lahore fan. So I kind of predicted that Karachi would finish in the bottom 2, and Quetta sort of falling away doesn't help my case here. I might be the one forking out for that Peri Peri chicken.
Yeah, it looks like it, because that's going to go down the leg side, though. David Wisa, it'll be a wide extra run that Quetta will be very happy with.
Yeah, they're just they look a little bit defeated already, Quetta. I mean, the thing is, we've seen things like this get chased down a lot. You just don't expect this Quetta team to do it. They've still got a few batting options to go. Certainly the batters that could chase it down. You still got Safraz out there. He's won games in this scenario before.
Yeah, quick single this time. A bit of a misfield that'll bring the second, in fact. And that could have been a close one, running on the misfield. Direct hit would have been interesting there. Abdullah Shafiq with his second blunder of the day in the outfield. 84 for 5 now. The Gladiators at this stage, Lahore were 89 for 7. Honestly, Atif, you make a good point about them looking demoralized. My problem with the Gladiators was that I know that they had Lahore 150 for 7, but even after the 20th over, Quetta were technically still ahead in the game. There wasn't a lot of runs on the board, but when they were walking off the field, it looked like they'd already lost the game. That's just not good enough. Worked away this time to the leg side. It'll just be I think it's a leg by for a single. Let's see what the umpire signaled. Required of exactly 10 from here on. That's a big ask.
Yeah, it is a big ask, and you're right. Like, we thought about how they would deal mentally with that little lapse there. They had the Lahore, on the rack, and then sort of gave them, just gave it away a little bit, but they were still in control. Like before the game, if you'd offered them 148, they'd bite your hands off for it. They didn't seem like they were taking that perspective. Then Smeed came out early doors, good little knock from him.
Ooh.
But since he's fallen away, nobody's looked like getting any fluency.
Good delivery from David Wiesa this time, beats the outside edge, and doesn't carry to the keeper, but they won't mind that. It's just another dot, as with each one of these quiet deliveries, the required run rate continues to climb. I cannot help but thinking back to the power play and how it looked like one-way traffic. Quetta really, really messed up to be in this position right now.
Absolutely, and they'll reflect on that hard if they go on to lose this game.
Could Yorker this time dig out 2 mid-wicket, and they'll come back for 2 if Sarfraz runs the second hard, and he does.
Yeah, there's a bigger area. He's throwing awkwardly from that side as well, Haris Rauf. So there was always going to be 2 runs there for the taking. Yeah. Odean Smith, again, is a batter who can, put the ball away. He's a very, very, accomplished player in his own right. So, again, if the game is not done, 62 off 36 is still gettable for Quetta. It's hard, obviously, and it's going to be challenging with the quality of bowling they're about to face up to. But even so, they'll fancy the chances. The next over will be very interesting because it's going to be Zaman Khan, I think. Weisa's bowled out 4 overs, 1 for 22, terrific from him. Winston Wolfe delivering again. But with Afridi to come and Haris Rauf to come, and they've really got to go after Zaman here. He's going to be the one that they have to try and target based on what else is still to come. They're going to have to get something off everyone, don't get me wrong. But Zaman is the guy who they're going to have to go after.
I agree. They're going to have to go big against Zaman Khan.
And this is where that experience of Sarfraz has to come into play. What's he got?
87 for 5 after 14. He's got a lot of experience, Sarfraz, but does he have the ability to hit high pace? It's a struggling matchup for him as he beats the outside edge first up of the ex-Pakistani wicketkeeper captain. Where were you when Pakistan won the Champions Trophy, Atif?
I was at home watching on TV.
Wow.
It was Ramzan. It was the hottest day of the year. I was fasting. I was offered tickets by a not even a friend, a fan of mine got in touch and offered me tickets. And I did take the tickets, but I gave them to my brother, who's a diabetic, so he can't fast, and my nephew was very young at the time, so the two of them went and enjoyed. And I like to think, Musad, it was my act of selflessness that allowed them to get over the line.
Big appeal, big appeal. They want to go upstairs. All the Qalandars want to go upstairs for that. Afridi obliges. It struck Sarfraz, I think, slightly outside the off stump. It hit the pads for sure. No bat involved. This could be curtains for the Gladiators.
It's borderline. It's very borderline. I feel like it might be one of those umpires call ones, but let's see. But yeah, where were you, by the way, in 2017 when Pakistan won the Champions Trophy?
I was watching with a bunch of friends, actually. Some of the guys that are on the show with us on occasion. So I was with Ahmed Hassan. Sarkhil was there. I think AZ even joined us a little later. And a bunch of other guys. We were at an Indian restaurant. That was hilarious. We were the only Pakistani table at an Indian restaurant.
All right, let's have another look.
I think that struck Sarfraz outside the line.
Yeah, I think it's umpire's call on the line. I think that's what you'll get when it goes to ball tracking. But they have to, that ball tracking is like the bane of most people's existence. It just takes so long to make it accurately. It might just be full on outside the line, actually. I think you're right. I think you're right, Musad. Yeah. By the way, I think Sarfraz will survive.
Yeah, he certainly will. 87 for 5.
What did you order at the Indian restaurant?
I don't remember. I was very nervous that day, Atif. For me, the Champions Trophy was super important. In the lead up to the Champions Trophy, I felt like Pakistan cricket was in a massive. It's officially struck him outside the off stump, and it's also missing the wickets, so that review will be lost by the Qalandars. But I understand them taking it. I thought if we don't succeed in the Champions Trophy, it's just going to be a domino effect to the downfall of our cricket. I felt like we were being pushed into a corner. There was not a lot of things going our way, including things back home and our the kind of talent that was coming through. And then you had Hassan Ali and Fakhr Zaman just burst through in that tournament. So it was very emotional on the day, hoping things go well for us as Sarfraz slaps this down to mid-on as Afridi working his using his footwork there a little bit to stop it. And so I can't remember anything in terms of what was ordered, what wasn't. I just remember that until Mahendra Singh Dhoni got out, in fact, and then Hardik Pandya put together that partnership. Until Pandya got out, I was just still nervous, even though the guys around me were telling me that, look, Dhoni's out. There's only so much these guys can do. I think we finally made it over the line. But I just couldn't believe it until Pandya was dismissed. And then I was like, you know what? I'm actually living this. This is happening. What a day. One of my favorite days, honestly.
Yeah, it's right up there for most Pakistani cricket fans, the Champions Trophy. Mine is a slightly less chosen one, but we'll come back to that after this ball.
Driven this time and hits Sarfaraz at the runner's end. Dean Smith will pick up a single. Another quiet over here for the Gladiators. No boundaries. Oh, it's a no ball from Zaman.
No ball.
They don't need that right now, the Qalandars. I think even if Qalandars lose this, by the way, Atif, the way they've performed after being 50 for 7, they should be very, very proud of themselves.
They should. I don't think they'll settle for anything less than a win now, certainly from this position, because they've done all the hard work to put themselves back in the driver's seat. They've got to try and close this one out. They can't make these little errors like these no balls. That's a big no ball from Zaman Khan looking at it.
Quite significant,
a good few, like 4 or 5 inches over the line, actually. That's very big.
Right, here comes the free hit.
Sarfaraz on strike.
Yeah, he's 10 off 12. Needs to get a move on. Slaps this down the ground, but Shaheen Afridi will be there to field it. Again, Atif, this was my problem. Sarfaraz desperate against the high pace. It's not a matchup that works for him.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing that right now, as a Pakistan cricket fan, you start to, now that you're seeing the options that people like Abdullah Shafiq and Saim Ayub and Hasibullah Khan and Tayyib Tahir, like all these new batters, all these options that are being presented, this delicious buffet of attacking T20 batters, now is the time where people are going to feel even more disdain.
Goes aerial Dean Smith. It's a lot of height and enough distance to go for 6. That's exactly what Quetta need. A few more of those. 97 for 5 now. Keeping the run rate in check, Dean Smith.
That's the knock-on effect of a no ball. That ball wouldn't have existed had he not bowled that no ball in between. Would have had Sarfaraz on strike. I beg your pardon, there's a ball to come in this over, isn't there? Yeah, so yeah, it's just the knock-on effect. Things can go very wrong. The batters are going to come after you. Dean Smith is very capable, as we've said, of hitting the big shots. So Lahore not out of jail yet, for sure.
97 for 5. Final ball of the 15th over. Smith, 10 off 5. He's finally stringing things together. Ooh, good short delivery from Zaman. Will that be given wide? I don't think so. I think that was perfectly bowled. Yeah. Legal delivery, which means 5 overs to go here off the 52 required.
Yeah, and 52 of 30. It will be a very exciting finish, I think. I still think there's some hits to come from Quetta. But just to go back to that discussion. Oh, actually, do you want to do it after the strategic power play?
Let's do that. Let's take a quick break, grab a drink of water, come back, and see how the next 5 go. Stay with us. for the single. 50 now required. Exactly 51, sorry. Required off 29 deliveries.
Talking just before, Musad, about these batters that no longer seem to fit into the format of T20 cricket. And there was a really interesting stat from Freddie Wild, which I retweeted as well, about the speed at which Pakistani batters are scoring. So they score much faster, 64% faster than in any previous edition of the PSL. This is one of the reasons, because so many batters are getting quicker and more aggressive, it's kind of underlining the failings of the other batters.
True. Driven to long off by Odean Smith for a single. We're calling it the run rate renaissance here on Change of Pace. Asif?
Very good. I'd buy that T-shirt. Run rate renaissance. I'm down for that. It's my kind of RRR.
Yeah, exactly. 99 for 5. Just a single left to get to that 100 mark, but there's plenty of work to do here for the Gladiators. I cannot believe that at one point they had the opposition 50 for 7. Goes big this time, Sarfraz, and that's going to go one bounce over the cover fielder for 4. Rolling back the clock is the ex-Pakistan captain, and he dismisses Afridi for another boundary.
Yeah, it's really good body position there from Sarfraz, oddly enough. I think he's angled himself, given himself a bit of room. He knows he's got space to step outside. Shaheen Afridi might look to push that wide line. He doesn't feel like being very defensive at the moment. He's trying to attack Sarfraz still, but he does have the option of going for the wide Yorkers now, because Sarfraz is opening up and trying to give himself some space to either lift the ball through the covers, down the ground, or pull it away into the leg side.
Oh,
it's
that
very good body positioning, good stance.
That would have been a smart shot if he had found the gap. This time tried to just work it past point. And, he didn't miss. He just found the fielder. It was timed well, though. Dot delivery, 46 now required.
Yeah, just again, Shaheen's not backing down here. He's still stuck with that length going across the right-handed batter. He's not going for that full wide Yorker. It'll be interesting to see if he tries the same thing to Odean, though. I think knowing a little bit about Odean's hitting capability, he might go a bit fuller and wider if he gets on strike. Of course, Sarfraz is still there. But yeah, we'll be curious. Is he going to go across him again? Let's see.
I don't know. I think he might go short here, Atif. No, he goes straight over the bowler's head, chips it, and does Sarfraz Ahmed. And long on comes around. David Weisa does well, but they'll come back. Oh, direct hit. I think it's out. Oh, I think it could be out. Odean Smith was just tracking his bat a little. Wasn't expecting a direct hit from long on David Weisa. The golden arm, the wolf, has been called again.
It was a bit loopy, the throw. I mean, I don't know. We didn't get the best angle on it. It was one of those sort of ground level angles, so we can't tell how far or out or how far in he was. We'll find out momentarily for sure. But
he's safe.
Good piece of fielding.
He's safe.
Yeah, see, the deceptive angle done him. It was a bit of a loopy throw back as well, it has to be said. It wasn't one of those quick flat ones. It's hard to put a quick flat throw in when you're slightly off balance, as Weisa was there as well. But good commitment in the field. Good running as well by Quetta, running his bat in properly. The Odean Smith at non-strikers end. And Shaheen, very interesting, going fuller that time and a bit straighter, bringing the ball back in. Let's see if he commits to that strategy. I have a feeling he'll try and go across Sarfraz again. I think that's what he likes to do. He's feeding the outside edge to the keeper.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Sarfraz is susceptible to that. He's played that mistake plenty of times. But he makes room this time. Again, finds the fielder at point. Cutting well. Oh, direct hit. Could be gone. No. It's not collected in time, and I think they haven't even taken the single.
Now he turned back. Sarfraz turned back. There's a bit of a fumble at backward point there. Shaheen's not happy. He looked over at the square leg umpire as if, are we going to look at that or not? But there's no need. He was comfortably home in the end. Sarfraz, bit of indecision there. Not a bad finish to the over as well from Shaheen, having been hit for that boundary. But even so, Quetta still in the game. They need 11 and over, 44 off the last 4 overs, 44 of 24. That's still doable. You got 2 set batters out there who face 25 deliveries between them. And Odean was properly ball watching there. There wasn't a run there, I get that, but his partner's halfway down the track. Shaheen just a little bit awkward to gather it, and equally Sarfraz was comfortably home. Yeah, that was the messiest gathering of a cricket ball ever by Shaheen, but he managed to somehow get it onto the stumps.
Yeah, could be tough.
All started with a fumble. It's the old saying, never run on a misfield.
Never run on a misfield, that's fair. That is for 44 off, 24 now required. Sarfraz already looks tired. Well, there's still plenty of work to go, my friend. Haris Rauf now into the attack. The job doesn't get easier for Quetta, considering the kind of bowling attack the Qalandars have. Swing and a miss. Just a wild hoik from Odean Smith. It was a wide one and a slow delivery from Haris to start off with.
Yeah, he never really got anywhere near the line of that. Odean Smith, he was about 3 miles inside the line of that ball. Has to get a little bit closer to the ball before he tries to attempt that kind of shot. Haris is one of the most improved bowlers at the death over the last few years. He started well, then he struggled, and then he came back again. He's made himself an invaluable death bowler, internationally renowned now. So very interesting to see what he does next. That slow ball was good. Slightly risky, though, because it was just there on a length. If the batter had held on and waited on it, he could have been dispatched.
Oh, he skied this. I think this is a huge wicket opportunity. And yep, it's comfortably taken by Sam Billings. A regulation take by the wicketkeeper. Haris Rauf picks up a massive wicket. Odean Smith has to go back. And the home crowd here at the Gaddafi celebrates that wicket as they know that that could be it for the night.
Yeah, we talked about it. We just telegraphed that wicket, didn't we? He's one of the most improved bowlers at the death, as we said, and he's done it again. Slower ball, slightly adjusted his length this time, a bit more back of a length. And, Odean Smith didn't really pick up on it. He tried to wait on it, but he couldn't. Just toe end of the bat, goes high up in the air, yells a little expletive to himself. Sam Billings comfortably takes the catch, composed, a wicket for Haris. This is brilliant from a Lahore perspective, just closing out this game. They've managed to get a big fish there. Odean Smith is one of those capable hitters. He's already hit 1-6, but in the end he goes for 11 off 9. And now this game's climax feels like it's going to tail off a little bit in the favour of the Qalandars. But let's see. Stranger things have happened. You never know. Still batters to come. Still 4 wickets in hand.
I think you're a proper optimist here.
I'm just trying to sell the game, man. As a broadcaster, come on. You can't say, what's the reason for anyone to tune in if you don't sell it, right? They gotta know there's a chance here. Anything can happen. This is cricket, T20 cricket. You can see no balls, free hits. There's a
super you sound like a Lahore fan, don't you?
Well, no. I mean, if I was a Lahore fan, I'd tell you that the game was done and dusted.
44 off 22. Let's see how the Quetta Gladiators. I've been doing this for 8 years, Atif. I'm getting tired.
Now you got to sell it, man. You got to never lose that enthusiasm. Everybody likes close finishes. Everybody likes exciting cricket. Sell it, boy. Sell it.
Producers are Frost telling me Atif clearly hasn't heard of our meltdowns, has it? Right. Let's say Muhammad Nawaz, look, hero of Pakistan's Asia Cup. I'm going to buy into Atif's shtick here and say, well, the game's still on. 44 off 22. Make that 43 off 21 as they come through for a quick single. Why not? A couple of big overs, Atif, and we've got a game on our hands. But
Excuse me a second.
I must say that crowd, that Lahore crowd, is just, it's doing a job and a half. They say that 12th man in football. Right now, it's Lahore's 12th man here at the PSL. Super over, says AG. Wow, that's very Bazid Khan of you.
Could happen.
I think we just lost Atif a little bit. Could be a close game. Let's say 43 now required. Odean Smith was the last man to go. 11 off 9. Sarfraz Ahmed needs to get a move on too. He's on strike right now as Haris bowls to him. Slow delivery. Worked away to the leg side. We'll push here for 2. No, we'll just get the single, in fact. 42 now required off 20 deliveries. It's a lot of runs. But it is modern.
It is a lot of runs.
T20 cricket.
Yeah, sorry about that. Somebody called me.
No problem.
On the phone. Who calls? कौन से बदतमीज लोग हैं जो मैच के climax के दौरान phone करते हैं? Who are these people?
It is always during the climax.
Don't call during cricket. Don't call during the cricket. Don't do it.
42 off 20. 107 for 6. 2 deliveries to go here in the 17th over. They need a boundary here, Quetta. Desperately need a boundary.
Yeah, they got to try and find one now.
Let's see what Nawaz can do. He's good against pace. He flicks this away through square. And Haris's protection there. They should come back for 2. Oh, that's interesting. They don't take the second. So Frost says no to it. And that'll just be it.
Yeah, it's good arm there. The throw was good. It was coming in. It's probably a good option not to go for the second there.
41
off 19.
One more
ball of this over. Have you been to the Gaddafi Stadium, Asad?
Sorry?
Have you been to the Gaddafi Stadium?
No, I haven't. I've been to the NSK, and that's pretty much it. When Pakistan stadiums.
Gaddafi's gorgeous, and obviously it's had a new coat of paint the last couple of years. It looks absolutely incredible.
I think
One of
next
the better
time I go to
stadiums in
Pakistan, I'll
Pakistan to
make
watch.
sure to visit. Oh, that is terrible. Sarfraz with his head going one way and the back going another. Swings and misses. It's another dot delivery. 41 required off 18. Quetta just don't look like they have it in the tank, but Nawaz is still out there. If he can string together a 20-run over, then why the hell not?
Yeah, it's a lot to ask of a new batter out there to immediately come out and start swinging, but to go back to Gaddafi, it's absolutely gorgeous. Illuminated nicely with those floodlights when they hang in there. I'd say it's the second best venue in Pakistan to watch Test cricket, in my experience.
What's your first?
Oh, Rawalpindi, hands down.
Yeah, that's
just a brilliant stadium.
Great things.
Great place to watch cricket. Like one of my top 5 in the world that I've been to. To be fair, I haven't been to as many as people assume I have, but yeah, I like. It's one of my favorite places to go watch cricket. Is Rawalpindi. It's fantastic. I love the Gaddafi. I've only actually been there a couple of times. 1996 World Cup final was fun. I remember that. That was a long time ago.
Wow. You actually went to that?
I did. I watched Sri Lanka beat Australia in the rain. It was great. Cool, cracking match.
Right. In comes Afridi this time. Yorker. That should be down the leg side. Half an appeal from the Lahore captain. And the leg by will bring... I think it'll bring Sarfraz Ahmed on strike.
It will. And that was a lethal Yorker. Like, that's a proper old-school Vakar Yunus style toe crusher. Just really bang right on the toe, trapping your toes between the ball and the surface of the ground. Like, it's a horrible feeling when you get hit with one of those, especially at that pace. I don't even want to imagine it. So hard, so fast. He was just sort of lungadying a little bit as he came down the pitch as well. Nawaz.
That's
what I mean. It's hard for a new batter.
Yeah. Nawaz
hard for a new batter to come out and start hitting.
This time, Sarfraz tries to drive it, just gets an inside edge. This Quetta innings going nowhere again. 40 off 16. Lahore growing in confidence with each dot ball.
Yeah, it's just been really good death bowling here. I mean, particularly from Haris Rauf in the previous over. He was outstanding. The changes of pace, the varying of length. Like, it's all very good bowling slow balls, but you got to vary your length to do it, to properly like, not allow the batter to settle. And now Shaheen's doing something similar. Brilliant.
Left arm round. It's in the air. Should be taken. Sarfraz has skied this. Oh, and it falls safely between a triangle of Qalandar fielders on the leg side. They'll come back for 2.
A bit of running just to make sure they got the 2 there as well. They've got to cash there. They've got to cash in on those 2s. Those guys. Sarfraz really hasn't found his timing in this innings. He played a couple of nice shots, but generally speaking, he struggled out there, giving more ammunition to the people who like these new young style batters. You know,
honestly,
where is Quetta's?
There's going to be a lot of conversation around how Quetta let Lahore gut from 50 for 7 to 148. But that goes big this time. Sarfraz through mid wicket, and he'll find the fielder out there for just a 2. Once again, Sam Billings letting that go. I don't think there was a run out on there, anyways. But the point that I'm trying to make here is, if you're gonna even if you're gonna restrict the team to 148. That should not come down to your bowling. 148 on any ground in the world in T20 cricket is a very chaseable total.
Without a doubt. It's the batters that have dropped the ball a little bit here. It's just... I say drop the ball. They just didn't seem like they had very defined roles. And they didn't seem to have a cohesive strategy about the way to go about their chase. Beyond, having a strong power play, which they did thanks to Will Smeed. Since then, we've not really seen any kind of backbone from Quetta. They've just really struggled, and they've been, got underneath the game.
That's a low full toss. Should have been put away from Sarfraz, but he only finds long on for a single. And that leaves Nawaz with just 1 delivery to work with. He needs to get a boundary off this. It's a lot to ask. Yeah,
it's got to go somewhere. Mind you, even if it comes down to sort of 18 off 1 over, it's doable. That's what I'm saying about T20 cricket. You never know. Come on, you're a Pakistan fan. You've seen heartache from here. It could go down. 35 off 13. Doesn't seem that massive, does it?
No, not really, but it's just the way the batting is going. Doesn't exude any confidence, man. Again, look at that. Just a drive, an attempted drive towards the offside. Poorly connected for a single. 34 now required off 12.
Yeah, it just takes one shot, two shots to find your mojo in T20 cricket, and you never know, things just go against you. Bowlers maybe slide one down the leg side, maybe overstepping here. Like, there's loads of things that can go for you. Like, even Lahore, they've bowled really well. They've done a very, very good job, but they haven't completely sewn up this game yet. 34 of 12, it's still gettable. We've seen it happen over and over again. And I feel you, the Quetta batters haven't really shown any real threat, these two out there yet, but we know that they can, and they only need to do it 4 or 5 times in the next 12 balls to make it happen.
34 required off 2 overs. They need a 15-16 run over this next one.
Yeah, this one's got to be at least you need to get under 20. Under 20 in the last over is what you want to chase.
Right, here we go. Haris Rauf's first delivery. It's a brilliant Yorker. Hard to dig that out, and it'll just be a single to a wideish long off.
Now then, it's on you, Sarfraz. Captain Sefi. You've done it before. Everybody loves you. But to show your place in modern T20 cricket, you got to find the goods now. What you got?
33 off 11. I think he'll be hoping for a short delivery that he can kind of guide for the behind square boundary, because it doesn't look like for the life of him throughout this innings that he's had the chance to kind of hit a proper stroke in front of square, but besides that boundary he got through the covers. Yeah, tries to heave it across the line, gets an inside edge, past the pads. Luckily he's not bowled. It'd just be another single. 32 off 10 now.
Yeah, the way he took that single, there looked like a bit of resignation about it, which is, it's disappointing to see. I mean, you shouldn't be thinking like that right now. Like, you should be attacking the game. Yes, you got Haris on one end and Shaheen on the other. Probably the two best death bowlers in the world in tandem right now. But you should still back yourself as an experienced batter, as somebody who knows their capability to be able to close out this game, to chase this down, to at least put a dent in it, to get it close. They shouldn't look so resigned after every ball.
32 required off 10, honestly. Sarfraz he's cutting a very sad image right now.
Well, there you go. That'll help. Wide down the leg side.
Yeah, not bad. 31 off 10. Quetta will take that.
I know it's like just one run, one ball, but all of a sudden the pressure just shifts a little bit. There's a little bit more pressure on the next ball. As a bowler, you're overthinking it a little bit more. You're putting that extra bit of thought, and that allows for the mistake.
Honestly, even a couple boundaries here, and you feel like, oh well, Quetta are back in the hunt. But my problem isn't the score, Atif. It's just that nobody has looked like getting these boundaries. I hope they prove me wrong. Right, here we go. Mohammad Awaz, bowl him! That's what I'm talking about. The Qalandars have shown tonight why they're the best in the league, why they deserve to be at top of this table. Haris Rauf knocks over Nawaz, and Quetta now have lost almost all hope of winning this game. 118 for 7.
Yeah, that was a poor shot from Nawaz. Took his eyes off the ball, head going nowhere, like not really behind the line. It was a straight ball from Haris, flat and fast on the stumps, on the length, and it was very much a you miss, I hit kind of bowling. It was just poor from Nawaz. You expect more from Nawaz as well. Like, he just kind of, eyes were in a different direction, balls in a different direction, didn't really get behind it, committed to a pull shot, didn't pick up on the length very well. And now I'm finally thinking about willing to concede that there's no way back for Quetta in this game.
Well, I appreciate that. 118 for 7. Might as well.
Yeah, it's been, I'm trying to create the story, keep the story, the jeopardy of the game alive. But yeah, you're very right in that Quetta have just been all over the place.
Yeah.
And there's been the lack of cohesion in the strategy, the way they've approached this chase. They've been outdone by Lahore in crucial phases of this game as well. I mean, they had a head start in many ways, but Lahore, between that partnership from Sikandar Raza and Rashid, they've kind of dominated the game. Other than the little phase where Smeed and the opening batter, they got a good partnership between them. But since then, since the introduction of Rashid Khan, that phase in the middle where he just got those wickets, nipped him out.
Yep.
Yeah, it's been all Lahore.
Full toss again, a full toss. That was an opportunity as well, but not going to expect much from the number 9. Interesting that Umaid Asif's not wearing his shirt on his name on his shirt. It's just wearing an Iron Man, just his Iron Man along the back. Well, just
is he?
Yeah. 30 off 8 required here.
I missed the angle on him on his shirt. I like that he's committed to this Marvel cinematic. More of a DC man myself. How about you, Razak?
Yeah, it depends on which films. As this is pulled away from Surfraz, Long On comes around to stop it. It would just be the one. I absolutely love the Batman trilogy. I know.
Wait, hold on. Who said anything about films? We're talking about comic books, bro.
Oh no, I don't. I haven't read too many comic books. I'm not the guy for that.
Right. Okay. I need like proper nerds. I need Sarkale back for that nerdiness.
I grew up reading like fantasy fiction, so I read Harry Potter, Chronicles of Narnia.
Cool. So you're still a nerd, just a different kind of nerd. That's all right then.
Exactly.
Just still in the nerd realm.
The less cooler kind. Oh goodness. Well, 120 for 7. Umaid Asif swings and he finds a boundary at square leg. Harisrov is down, and that leaves something to chase off the last over. 25 for 6. The chat is telling me, Atif, that I usually am very animated and angry about Quetta doing as poorly as they have done tonight. I think this is they've really peaked and crescendoed when it comes to their terribleness, for lack of a better term. But the chat is telling me, well, I'm in the acceptance phase of my grief.
Yeah, you are. You kind of accepted it a long time ago. I think you preempted it a little bit as well.
Yeah, I think seen pretty these early, guys, man. I've seen them do this far too many times.
Yeah, they're just missing like character. They're missing cohesion. They're missing strategy, and also they've just got their personnel all wrong, Quetta, which is a real shame. Because there's a lot of hype coming into this tournament, Ifty Mania and all that, and hasn't been anywhere to be seen so far.
No, nothing like that at all. Well, look, I'm going to take a book out of Atif's page and say, well, crazier things have happened. 25 required off 6. Let's see.
Yeah, you can keep that book now, mate. I'm pretty sure Lahore's closing this game out.
Brilliant Yorker to start off with. That is absolutely magnificent from Zaman Khan. He thinks he's hit him on the boot, but it hasn't. So that'll just be a dot delivery. Sam Billings wants to go upstairs.
Nah, I don't think that's necessary. Hopefully they won't waste any time doing that. But at the same time, actually, Shaheen's thinking about it, but he's turned his back on it. He says, nope, we're fine. I love that they continue to persevere with Zaman Khan bowling the last over as well, by the way.
Why
it must do wonders for his confidence, Yeah. Wonders for his confidence.
He's finished
I'm in a team
3
with Shaheen.
games with the very close final overs, by the way. 25 is a lot of runs for him to defend. He's defended 12 and 8, if I remember correctly.
That's right. Last year he was a standout, but he's continued to be allowed to do this. And
quick.
That's absolutely brilliant. Yeah, I'd love to see him get opportunities outside the PSL.
A quick short ball to Sarfraz Ahmed, and he picks up a single. He could be run out here lazily.
This is nearly was.
That if he's run out there, I'm done. I'm leaving you here, Atif.
It's been a day to forget for Sarfraz. He's looked out of his depth for a lot of this innings. I mean, I know he's capable of more than what he's shown today, but even so, even his staunchest supporter would have a tough time defending this performance.
He's
really struggled.
This could be out, man.
You're a little bit ahead of me, so you might have to give me a spoiler. Oh my god! Oh my god!
I think he's safe. He's safe.
Also, I think did Rashid knock the stumps over, the bails over?
He might have
palmed the ball.
He might have.
Yeah, that would have been like the embarrassment cherry on the embarrassing cake.
Right, 4 6s for Quetta. That's what they need
to tie.
To tie.
To win. Sorry, I beg your pardon. To win. Sorry, I beg your pardon.
And that's going to be a dot ball. So Lahore officially, not officially, but realistically, have won this game now. 24 off 3 required. Zaman Khan's done really well in this final over.
You're right. I'm going to get ready for this 1 minute review thing. What am I putting in there, Musad? From the
Honestly,
second, I've got my notes from the first innings.
Stare at the camera with a QG shirt on quietly for a minute. Modern art.
I'd love to get a hold of it.
Modern.
Just put on a nice Imran Khan Bewafa tune on in the background.
Yeah, that's it. That's all you really need. Oh, there you go. Umaid Asif clears the front leg, and he clears long on 2 for a 6. Where's that been? We should have sent him up the order.
Oh my god, it's the literal definition of too little, too late.
Yep.
Umaid Asif. It's a good shot, but even the expression on his face afterwards tells he's just saying yard. Like, you missed it, bro. You missed the boat. And they got Naseem Shah sitting out in the dugout. frustrated. Already handshakes and celebrations in the Lahore dugout. They know that even if the next 2 balls go for 6, it doesn't matter. They've closed out another game and strengthened their position at the top of the table.
Oh, brilliant bouncer from Zaman Khan. And another dot delivery. Lahore. Look, I spent a lot of time sulking about the Quetta performance. I think, Atif, it's also very much fair to talk about the character, grit, determination, and skill that has been shown by the Lahore Qalandars tonight.
Without a doubt, they've been outstanding. I mean, if you go back to that effort in the field from Sikandar Raza, which was going to go for a 6 from Will Smith, but he just palmed it back in, attacked the ball, and threw it back. They never gave up hope of winning that game. That was a big moment for me.
Well, 18 required off the one delivery. It's just been a tale of two very contrasting sides as this is bunted down the ground. Sarfraz refuses to take a single, and the Quetta Gladiators lose. Lahore Qalandars win by 17 runs. It's been a hell of a game tonight. I think this game is the perfect metaphor, the perfect story for the way the Lahore Qalandars have embodied the PSL. They started off poorly, much like Lahore did in the early seasons. They collapsed. They were a bit of a joke. They were 50 for 7 with no hope to go. And then it all changed. Sikandar Raza and Rashid Khan put together a mammoth partnership, one for the ages, to be honest. One that will be remembered by the Lahore faithful for a very long time. They got to 147 courtesy of that partnership, and even then it looked like, well, that's a below par total. The Quetta Gladiators should be able to chase it, and it certainly did feel that way at the end of the power play, where Quetta required just around 6.5, 6.7 runs and over. But after the power play, well, it went downhill very, very quickly. The same old faults with the same old names: Martin Guptill, Sarfraz Ahmed, Mohammad Hafiz, Iftikhar Ahmed, Mohammad Nawaz. None of them looked like they were ever going to take Quetta over the line. And for the Qalandars, it's those guys again. Rashid Khan on song, Sikandar Raza in the field, Haris Rauf at the death, Zaman Khan coming back after a couple of poor overs and captained, foiled, put together so well. With a supreme that is Shaheen Shah Afridi. It really looks like an undefeatable franchise, and they've done exactly that. From 50 for 7, they've won by 17 runs. But before we go off tonight, big thank you to Atif, who's joined us for his second game on Change of Pace. Atif, big shout out to you, man. It was an absolute pleasure and an honor covering this game. I stuck around for a full 40 overs. You did. So big shout out for that. A big thank you to that. I hope you had a good time, as good as a time as I did, in fact. And hopefully we'll see you later this season.
Yeah, for sure, man. Thanks for having me again. It was an absolute pleasure. I can't decide who I enjoyed working with more, Ahmed or yourself, but you're both brilliant. And it's been good fun, man. It's been a lot of fun. Thanks for having me. Thank you for all the, the kind words and the questions from the listeners. Sorry if I upset anybody by saying I don't like Formula One. And congratulations to Lahore. Hard luck, Quetta. It's not your season, I'm afraid. Oh, and PSL in 1 minute will be up in about 40 minutes.
Great. Make sure you can also check out the Change of Pace page for that. We'll make sure that we retweet it, so you get a look into it there. We'll be back live tomorrow for more PSL action, and we might even get a rant or two out of some Quetta fans or Karachi fans. The season is definitely going Lahore's way. We'll be back to cover more of it tomorrow. Until then, thank you for joining us.